No better introduction to the podcast than being immediately off topic.
Yeah.
And that is the opening to this podcast. Hi,
As I eat a carrot.
We're just having a good time today. We're having good days. We all kind of came on the Zoom call and were like, we're actually having quite a good day today. So
let's see how far low we can drag.
So hopefully our good vibes will be spread among the people. Sounds like
hopefully.
Imagine if Jesus said that. I'm here to spread good vibes amongst the people.
I mean, technically that is what he said. He was like, yo,
just
what
in
up,
different words.
Spreading a good vibe.
Spread good
Vibe
vibes.
check.
And if you lust after a woman, gouge your eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last thing Jesus said to Judas as he was taken away was bad vibes.
Bad vibes. These Romans, bad vibes. Bad vibes.
We did conclude that inside checks are vibe checks now.
Yes.
In Crimson Paddle. Whenever we say vibe check, we mean an inside check.
We're gonna get a vibe check.
Glitter bomb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, glitter bomb.
We're just inventing our own new stuff now.
We are not early. We are actually late. We were meant to be starting at 1:30. Because people have things they need to be doing today. However...
Even when we try to do an earlier time, we're late.
Yeah.
So we're technically on time.
Yes, technically, it's all fine. Nothing is real anyway. But hello, welcome to this podcast. That was an incredibly long introduction. What we normally do is... I'm going to show you what we normally do before the podcast, but we didn't do it this time, so we're a little bit all over the place. So, what happened in each of the campaigns? Just give us someone who actually takes notes, not me.
We had a lot of RP in terms of Jesus, Road to El
yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Road
to El Terrell, so much shit happened.
Yeah,
so
that was
much great shit happened.
Oh yeah, Snipe's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we killed
now
Snipe.
Officially dead.
Yeah, that's where we left it.
Terrified.
Raina and Hera are hostile to each other. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Hey,
that was an
AJ.
interesting. Hi AJ.
Why are you in chat and not on the podcast? What's happening? You could have come joined us. You're always very welcome here. But the baby is no longer sick.
Yay!
Good vibes of the podcast have healed people. I'm not going to say that in online. I will get executed. Speaking of execution, Snipe's dead.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah.
Nice segue, Becca.
Yeah, a great segue. Yeah, no, Snipe died, literally. Like,
not in the way Hattie intended to, which is probably the biggest disappointment of the session, I would say.
Yeah.
Hattie did not get to snap like Snipe's
I
neck.
just wanted to punch so hard. No.
The final vibe check.
Hattie was put in the doghouse, and I'm like 80% sure it was because Jinx was like, there's going to be an important moment and your brain isn't going to be able to handle not saying something in a tense silence, so we're going to put you outside.
The fact that he said that like the room that we were in, there was a copper bath of oil, I was like, immediately get Hattie out of this room.
Yeah.
She'll just be swimming in the bath as they like transport Snipe's body over. She's just already submerged.
It's like, I want to be a different person as well.
Yeah. Drinking the oil.
Yeah.
what? Okay, Snipe. What do you think what's gonna happen to
Yeah.
Snipe in the dream? That's whatever state they're in.
I'm terrified. I can have a guess of what's going to happen because at the beginning of this week, Janks messaged me concerningly a question that basically said, "I'm going to find it."
Ooh. Do you
Behind
have
the
your
scenes
backup character
tea.
ready?
I don't know. He said, so odd question, what's the first destructive thing Penny, which is Snipe's demon, did after accepting a demon spirit? And if it wasn't murder, could you also tell us about the first murder? And so I thought for a while, and I came back with the most honest answer I can give, which is, okay, there's 3 things you can choose from. We can choose.
Don't tell us what they are.
No, don't.
Well, I won't
go
go into detail, but I'll give the titles of it. There's the first destructive thing they did as a demon, which it was destructive but not murderous. The first murder they committed, and then there's the first time they were used as a demonic weapon, which was destructive and also murderous. And I said, there's 3 things you can choose from. I can give you all of them stories separately, and you can choose which one. And he responded with, give me all of them.
Of course he did.
He's going to use all.
Oh, that's
I'm so intrigued by what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be real exciting.
Yeah, I think I can guess how it's set up, because from what we last left off in the dream state, there was like, what was described as like 3 tendrils attached to Snipe.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be like a case of like, there's 3 things that Snipe's going to have to fight, and during that time it may come to a case where somehow Kaya and Reyna are going to help because they're also there.
Yeah.
I am glad I am there, because I now have
Yes.
that. It's called the Ring of Stars, but it's basically legendary resistance.
Nice.
It's the 3 legendary
Nice.
resistances, and I hope I may
Wait, you have
use
legendary
it.
resistances?
I the Ring of Stars I have right now. That's like the little bonus I got for singing that song.
Oh, that's
Wow.
sick.
I want to
That's
sing a song now.
those are 3 legendary
Musical
resistances.
episode.
Yeah, I am curious if I am able to use them whenever Snipe is fighting.
You can
or...
use was one of the functions that you can use it to make any failed saving throws succeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, okay.
That's legendary
would it
resistance.
work if
Nice. I know that Bardic Inspiration from Kaya will work, because last time Reyna was in like one of those dream states in the ethereal plane, Kaya, you like gave them Bardic Inspiration, which affected.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
you
So
get
I think,
Bardic
yeah,
inspiration, you get
I think
Bardic
it's
inspiration.
I think it's great we have 2 support characters
Yeah.
with.
It makes a lot of sense.
It definitely
Yeah.
has to be you two. Like, as much as I was joking
Yeah.
about being sent outside because I can't control myself,
Yeah.
like, I do think it's for the best. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think I'd much rather Kaya and Reyna are in there than
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like one useful thing any of the other 3 could do. Like, I guess Hera could maybe
don't-
heal, but I don't.
Well, I think the way things are with Seymour would probably not help at all. In fact, would probably do anything to aid the immediate death of Snipe.
I don't
after
know
all the
about
shit that's
that.
happened between them.
I don't know about that. I think Seymour
Yeah.
would try his best to help Snipe survive. Listen, we've done a lot. At this point, it's just like, you know, you're 1 foot in, you might as well go all in, you know.
Yeah.
I think the others are more moral support than
Yeah.
anything else.
Did
Yeah.
you AJ's just put in chat saying that Helra hates Reyna being in there with Snipe.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
I kind of knew that was going to happen, and I was
Yeah.
glad it happened. Because I was just like, okay, this would be the moment where Snipe puts their foot down to basically... Because that's a good situation that occurred in that Helra confronted Reyna and basically said, like, oh, you are untrustworthy. Anything that happens to the group is all your fault. And, like I saw all of our faces during that confrontation of, like...
You're like,
Helra basically saying, you are the one who is, like, evil in this group. And we're sitting here like,
Yeah, it's very funny because Hilhard doesn't know about the other deals and anything else, so it makes sense for Hilhard to think. But if you look at it logically, it's like I think most of us, except Hattie, are like,
But
Yeah.
even then, Hattie's like, okay,
yeah.
that's
how
fine.
do you think Helra would react to finding out that... AJ, question for
AJ,
you. To
yeah,
finding
AJ.
out
Yeah,
that...
AJ in chat.
Uh,
He was, apparently they haven't joined us because they were watching anime and they got distracted and they forgot
Necessities.
about podcasts. Which,
Yeah.
to be fair, is, you know, if there's any reason as to why you're not joining the podcast, watching anime, I think personally is
that's a valid
a
reason.
very
Mhm.
legit reason.
Yeah.
Because, like, in Hera's defense, I think it's interesting because from a just a general moral perspective, I do think there's something to be said about Reyna, like, fully choosing to worship an evil deity that has indirectly led her to murder someone at this point,
Yeah.
and people making deals with devils that are ultimately out of their control in order to help the people that they love or to stay alive.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that if you look at the full pic, like, Hera wouldn't
Yeah.
know that, and Hera doesn't know anything about Reyna's situation, so, like, that Hera's reaction isn't based off of that. But from, like, just, like, a god perspective, like, moral
Yeah.
point of view,
Mhm.
I do think that, like, there's, like, our alignments, for example, I think it all still makes sense. The fact that Reyna's neutral and Hattie's neutral,
Yeah.
but Kai and Seymour are good, I think. And I think Snipe's good, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Mm,
I
we'll have to
think in kind of a counter to that, my gosh, English just left my mind. To have the morals to believe that it's okay to make a deal with a demon, no matter what. Because I mean, I don't think Hera in any moment would think that this is the last option and this is a decision I can stand by to make a deal with a demon. I don't think they would ever get to that point. So I think even that is kind of a little bit like, dodgy. If not.
Definitely. So yeah, I think from Hailra's perspective, she'd be like, "Oh wait, all of these people are evil."
Yeah.
But from
I think
from,
The response is it's really hard to type.
Yeah, I think like it's because if you make a deal, you don't necessarily worship them.
Exactly.
There's a big
difference.
difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
however,
like
you're working
Reina,
alongside them, they're like
yeah,
contacts.
you're working
aiding
with
them.
them, but you're not worshiping them and seeing them as something bigger. Like you, and really being a cleric of a god is usually worshiping and sacrificing like parts of. You can sacrifice anything, but so I think there is a big difference in that,
Do
and
you
it's.
think that Reina's in this for life? Do you think like she's picked a god now? That's just it.
It's a great question.
It's so weird because whenever I play Reina and whenever I'm in such a situation and I'm thinking about it, like even though Reina doesn't like Hilra right now, she takes every bit of information into her mind and thinks about it and really like she holds the information dear. Because it's the only parts, like the only way to information from someone else's view than from Lolth. So it's like information about how the Underdark is. So it's not like she's letting it go into one ear and out the other.
Is it enough to change your mind?
No. She is.
If anything, I would say that like, would it be accurate to say that in Helra telling Reina their story, it would therefore confirm something within Reina to say like, oh, so even if I do go too far into Lolth's powers, I still have a way of escaping because Helra has escaped such situations.
Yeah, it's indeed like
That's a real dangerous game to be playing.
Yeah, it's so weird because Reina has really turned off her morality right now and just her common sense, because she is so extremely focused on thinking this is the only way to get there.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So it might eventually change her mind, but I feel right now I don't see her changing her mind. It might in the future, but
well, from Haura's perspective. So for context, Haura has been forced against. I don't know whether I don't know how much of a spoilery stuff this should be.
I think Helra gave it away because they explained that they were in like
they were a
explained
noble
the
family in the
House of
Underdark.
Frel, and they got trained to be a Lolth cleric priestess.
Okay, no, this isn't spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Spoilering anything. Wow, the English language is strong in me today. So for context, Haura was forced against her will to become a cleric/priestess of Lolth in the past, and hearing that Reina is doing this willingly makes her feel weak inside, like she's back in the Underdark. She doesn't understand how something can willingly go through, how someone can go willingly
can go through that. I think
so
there's so much I want to say.
Discussion.
No, it's just I think also because Hilbert doesn't know where Reina's coming from exactly. It's not because Reina wants power, but it's because in different reason. So, and Reina is just so unsure of how to approach this situation, that she thinks, because she got brought up by believing in a god and worshipping a god, that she thinks worshipping this god, who is like the leader of the Underdark, is the only way to get in there without getting hurt.
It's interesting, right? Because I'm trying to figure out, and I'm still trying to figure out how like Kaya feels towards Reina, because I think it's relatively complicated at this point. And I'm trying to just like backtrack and figure out like everything that the party has actually seen Reina do at this point. So we've had the sword, right? That was supposed to be Reina's, but that had different iconography. That was from Corellian, right? But then we also had the Temple of Eldath with the pool.
Yeah.
And then we had the spiders later. So we've seen all three like clashing iconographies. We've also seen Reina go from like a mainly white, blue, silver outfit to a black one.
Yeah. The aesthetic change.
Yeah. Dark purples, dark blues.
So I'm trying to I just don't know what Kaya would, because like the thing is, I think that Kaya already looked down on Reina just for like being a cleric of any god, and also being, relatively wealthy. Kaya didn't think that Reina really had any struggles necessarily. Yeah. And that she didn't really have a right to complain. And so I don't know. I think that if Kaya would probably kind of be like, this is stupid. Like you're being dumb. and maybe even you're being evil to a certain degree. I think if Kaya knew that you'd killed someone, she probably would go from disliking Reina to distrusting Reina relatively quickly.
Yeah. I think for Hattie, I think this entire thing is very... like, the way she sees gods, because of how... like, her interaction with Orgma, it's like a case of, you know, sometimes there are gods about, and you can, like, bounce from one to another, and, like, you know, they help you out, and it's kind of cool and fun, and, you know, some people decide that they only want to do it with one god, and that's chill, and, like, she'd have to have the full context as to why you killed someone. But, like, because of her relationship with Candlekeep, she wouldn't just, like, write you off as a person. Because I don't know if I think I've said this on this podcast, but if Candlekeep asked her to kill someone, unlikely. But if Candlekeep asked her to kill someone, she would.
Yeah.
I don't know at what point Candlekeep's going to take a dark moral turn and
we'll see.
Demand
We'll see.
assassins, but having
Yeah.
said that, hijinks. Hit
me up.
The first form of like proper contact with Elephant Hattie gets is just how do you like to make a man disappear?
Yeah.
Like a magic trick.
Sort of. Of sorts.
I think what would bother Kaya about that death, like, first of all, it's a person that they've met, right, and that they know is like an okay person, but then it's the I think Kaya would not be okay with Hattie's thing either, because I think what Kaya hates about it is the blind loyalty of it all.
Yeah.
You know, the just kind of like randomly, or like not randomly, but very deliberately like killing someone without any knowledge or grudge or anything, just because someone else told you to. For Kaya, that would feel so weak. Like, that's like...
Yeah.
The very interesting thing about that whole murdering Talise stuff is that at the moment Reina was completely oblivious, like, about Lol's intentions. How Lol is as a person, well, as a goddess, as a deity, and how Lol acts towards people who betray her. So it's like, it's not, she is glad that she knows that is something that Lol likes to do or does, because it's another piece of that puzzle of information about what they are like in the Underdark. I think eventually it's just like filling a bucket with water. Like, eventually the bucket will just overflow with information, and Reina will not take it anymore and will either be too deep into it and not being able to get out of it, or she will be just able to climb up on the edge and drag herself out of it. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I think it will happen eventually, that she's going to realize, like, oh fuck, this is not good, I need to do something else.
That's kind of the advice that Snipe gave with Snipe and Reina's interaction, because Snipe's in the mindset where I'm not sure, like, would they have pieced together? I think they would have at this point, because the way it's pieced together right now of the situation with Talise is that Kaya and Snipe saw Talise falling ill, and then Reina was confirmed through monkshood that she was responsible for Talise falling ill. But it's not confirmed either way, but I think Snipe has come to the realization that it might be something to do with it because of, like, Snipe's interaction with Reina that had symbols of love, like being bit by the Argent Spider and that kind of stuff, and seeing the spiders. So Snipe would have made a connection.
We don't know, like, we've never seen Talise with, like, spider iconography, and we don't know that she's sick from spider venom. We just know that she's sick from, like,
I think
poison.
Snipe got a warning, like, beware of the spider or something like that. Like,
yeah, but the thing is, you could definitely connect Reina to spiders, but I don't think you can connect Talise to spiders, because we've seen nothing about, like, Talise having anything to do with spiders.
Logically, yes. Like, in a logical mind, yes, there's the thing where it's like, oh, it could just be coincidence, but for Snipe right now, they are kind of just, like, always in the mindset of, like, there's always a certainty of chance. So they're always stuck in the mindset where it's like, this is not just coincidence, this is connected. So Snipers are the mindset of understanding where Reina's at, because they've been in a situation where they have been used by someone else as like a way for them to get what they want by manipulating them into getting what they want. So Snipe understands where Reyna's at, so that's why Snipe warned Reyna, like, know when, like, you're not yourself, know when you've realized, okay, this is not what I wanted in the first place, because you can get to that point where you're too far in, and then suddenly you realize, okay, this has gone too far, but it's too late at that point.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting that AJ put in chat. What I find interesting is that during the conversation with Reyna and Helred, they basically talked about how similar they are without realizing.
I was like, you guys are like the same person.
Yeah, they're the same person, just with like different sides.
Yeah.
It's like while Helred
like...
was walking in one direction, Reyna's walking in the other direction, but it's the same path they're walking on.
Ed also said we're all really similar. Some of us are just better at hiding it. Baseline people just want to be understood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also think that in the conversation, like, Reyna did not outrightly say, I follow Lolith. Lolth. It's such a shit name to say. Lolth. Because Reyna is part drow, and she's always been like a bit of the bad child in like with her mother, like the relationship with her mother. So she's always been a bit more manipulative or aggressive than the rest of her family. So I think it was very interesting that Hilrek cast Zone of Truth, because that made Reyna not outrightly say yes to all the questions, but say yes, but in a way that made her feel powerful.
Mm-hmm. In the same way, like a bully who knows they are a bully when they've been caught doing something wrong, they don't deny it, but they just like continue to cause a menace as they're like admitting their accusations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also because Reyna did not like how Hilrad treated her, because it very much felt like how her mother would use to talk to her.
That's funny. That's very interesting.
It's really very interesting. I'm really curious to see where that goes.
Yeah. It's also interesting how like Seymour also, when talking to Reyna, said pretty much the same thing along the same lines as what Snipe advised. Basically just like, oh, make sure to take care of yourself. So Reyna's just been getting the same form of advice from like two different people.
Don't fuck yourself over, okay?
It's just like, be careful.
Yeah. And even though Reyna doesn't show like she is taking in that, like she's taking note of the advice, but she doesn't outrightly say thank you or I will. Yeah. She knows and she will remember the advice, but she will not outrightly say that she, Yeah. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
What else happened?
Well, I mean, there's a new. So there's going to be new. How do I say this? That was the weather that I just showed y'all. Sorry about that. You're welcome. I'm just trying to find the thing where it's from. So there's going to be new mechanics added to the game specifically for Hattie. Janks and I are adding ADHD mechanics to Hattie's character.
Nice.
Why?
That's
I mean,
amazing.
Hattie, you automatically add ADHD mechanics to Hattie.
Because apparently the player struggling with it isn't enough. You have to have the character dealing with the
You have to have it as well.
Okay.
That's fun.
So a quick overview is that there is get advantage on investigation checks if it's something that the character cares about. So you have special interests. There's like a few of them. So one of them is old books and one of them is buttons.
Nice.
Unsurprisingly. Impulse checks, basically if a character has a strong impulse to do something, whether it's a good idea or not, they have to make a wisdom saving throw to see if they resist it. Difficulty at the DM's discretion. Disadvantage if something is extremely cool on one of their special interests.
That's amazing.
That's
so
really
if
good.
you're hyper focusing, you get
That's
advantage.
So fun.
Disadvantage if it's something that they 1 minute if it doesn't involve something that they're hyper focusing on. So if Hattie's working on writing a book and she's hyper focusing on it, if she's doing perception checks as well, she'll have disadvantage on that.
Wow.
Passive perception is up by 1 unless they're hyper focusing, then it's -5. Completing tasks. If it's dull or uninteresting, it's just as hard.
I think that
really
makes it
good.
very interesting for you as a player, because it doesn't like it kind of
It incorporates what's going on outside
Yeah,
in the
and
game in a
it
more
takes a
structuralized
bit
version.
of a control away from you. Like
Yeah.
you yourself don't have to make the decision; you
Yeah.
can roll for it.
Yeah.
There's also stuff like overstimulation. So if I'm on my own in a crowd, if Hattie's, I'm talking about it like it's me. I personally also roll disadvantage when I'm alone in a crowd.
I just do that in general.
So if I'm alone in a crowd, I get Hattie would get overstimulation, has to roll at disadvantage, unless there's a character with Hattie to calm her down and keep her okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So Hattie's gonna have to like work with someone else in the room to help her focus on tasks and stuff. It's
Amazing. That's
so
that's
get
great.
ready for that, guys.
That's really well thought out. That's really good.
It's from there's a specific disabled disability. Still the wrong freaking window. It's from D&D Disability .com.
Oh.
They have a Patreon and stuff as well. But yeah, so I assume they have more learning difficulties and physical disabilities that kind of can
Be integrated
Yeah.
within a character.
That's fun.
Yeah. Canon character with ADHD.
ADHD.
The thing is, when because it was Jank's idea and he first sent it to me, when I was reading through it, I was like, oh god, that I do roll disadvantage on anything else when I'm hyperfixating and like.
It's like,
that's what I.
it's like, this
feel
is
about it.
extreme. This is extremely accurate. I hate
Yeah.
how accurate this is.
Yeah.
It was like, that's really harsh in some areas, and I'm like, you know what? It's not wrong though. It's not
Yeah.
wrong. It's
This
very
is
accurate.
insufferable.
So, yeah, impulse checks are
Great.
gonna be fun.
Oh.
That's gonna be great.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you think your characters have any learning difficulties or anything like that? Mental health issues? Anything?
Well, Snipe has PTSD, so that's why you have an intense fear of fire. I think that's there's probably a couple more things as well that would trigger something, but they're a bit more innate and
Social
bearable.
anxiety.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kaya has like low-key addiction issues. I think that's about it though. She has some apathy problems too.
I think
Oh, and anger management issues.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a real, like, I don't know the real word for it, but Reina is very socially unaware of things.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
very not really good with her words.
Yeah.
I want to say asocial, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I am not there. I think there's a term for it, but I'm not
Slight-
sure.
Slight disassociation. No, wait.
Social.
I might need to look it up, but
Social anxiety.
It doesn't sound like
maybe
anxiety. It
closer.
sounds like.
No, it sounds like. It sounds like.
Sounds like that.
Sounds like a car horn, yeah.
it's like not being good with your words or being too... It might be I'm not sure. It might be on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like one symptom of it. Hang on.
Yeah. Oh, my cat. Let me open the door for my cat.
Might be in the. Let's have a look.
Social
We're all-
communication
we're all looking at
deficit.
Yeah,
Social
that might be it.
communication deficit is probably the closest I got.
Yeah.
They have D&D Disability have a magical item called weighted blanket.
I
love that.
While it looks like a normal blanket, this one has a twist. It's weighted. The weighted blanket magically adjusts its weight depending on the person using it, approximately 10% of body weight for maximum comfort and benefits. When not in use, the blanket adjusts to weigh no more than a regular blanket, making it easy to carry around without adding extra weight. If used during a short rest, it takes away a -1 stress point.
Aw.
That's ideal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
We should just have that.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you have like an adventures pack.
Yeah.
They have chronic, just as like a little advert for D&D disability.
Yeah.
Copy the link, throw it in chat.
mechanics.
Yeah, put the link in the chat.
I
Yeah.
shall.
I would say that, that might be something in Snipe as like a part of autism that's like on the opposite end of the spectrum of what ADHD is. So like there's a certain part of ADHD in which like a lot of things that like don't bring that much attention are immediately forgotten. Snipes of the mindset where it's like the smallest thing that occurs, they remember it for a very long time and keep it like rolling in the back of their mind.
It's like kind of similar to, I want to say intrusive thoughts, but that's also not the right word.
Yeah.
Cat.
What's wrong with it?
Hyperfixation.
Hyperfixation, but
Yeah,
like
hyperfixation.
it's hyperfixation, but on like a lower level of like.
I love you.
Speaking of ADHD, just immediate cattail enters the site.
Yeah, so they have chronic pain and mechanics and painkillers to go with that. Stress point system, ADHD, autism, sensory processing disorder, joint braces, some things that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Disabled NPCs, that's why I can't pronounce the name, because it's not based. I don't know why my hand was like this. I'm going to stop doing that. Yes, I think that's wonderful that exists.
Yeah.
And
It's really cool.
And I think
Yeah.
it's really awesome that Janks is bringing it into the game, because it's kind of
You may as well. If it's a case where it's like you're playing a game and certain things that are outside the game do occur and you think I should probably have mechanics to make sure that they make sense, because there's no way you can kind of avoid them or like go around them nicely. It's good to have like a little base where like you can set this up in a mechanical way.
Yeah, it's also just fun.
Yeah,
you know,
it's fun.
it's fun to have mechanics for something that your character does
Yeah.
or has.
It's also
Yeah.
nice that like the actions, attitudes, and decisions that Hattie has are kind of like not justified, but like are explainable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
like
if
they're
someone-
valid.
Yeah, like if someone sat me down and was like, "Why did you do this?" I'd be like, "Well, it was just like a impulse in the moment thing that Hattie wanted to do." Now I can be like, "Oh, she has ADHD. It was an impulse." Like it's not.
Yeah.
Not that just wanting to do something should be a way of discrediting something, but I think
It's nice to have labels for things.
an easier way of explaining it than she's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You know.
easier to say like
You
it's
know.
it's easier to say this label is like these parts of this label describes parts of me.
Yeah.
So you can look it up and read about it. But if you just have to explain all the parts that like with explanations
Yeah.
and like it's
Yeah.
getting hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jinx is absolutely adorable and was just like cleaning the little face in the background. I currently do not have any pets, and I am absolutely adoring just seeing everyone's animals wandering in and out of frame.
All right. So what other role-playing moments do we have in Road to Outro?
Kaya and Seymour had a moment.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Kai and
yeah.
Seymour had like a big talk. That was quite interesting. I didn't think it was gonna go where it went, but Dave played it really, really well.
Yeah. It was nice seeing Dave play Seymour, like RPing Seymour again.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because that's been a while.
he really gets it. But no, that's our fault. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
We're
Sorry, Dave.
taking so much of the limelight sometimes.
What were Kai's thoughts after that conversation? Do you think it's kind of? Are you just
Kai's a
still
little
there?
worried. Kai's a little worried about Seymour. She's been worried about Seymour for a while though, but now she's like extra worried because she knows that Seymour doesn't really want to be here, and that kind of worries her a little bit. Specifically, what she's really worried about is just waking up and him not being there anymore. Like she's just worried about him disappearing and her not knowing where he is. I don't know. It was a it was a really interesting conversation that the two of them had.
Yeah. I think it really makes sense for both of your characters to feel that way, to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been spending a lot of time together, and just like everything you guys went through. Jesus, I can't speak.
I can't either, to be fair.
Yeah, anything that's like to do, because obviously it's a case where like our entire group was sent on a quest to Elturel, and then this kind of split of the group has like separated where the majority of like reasonings to actually go to Elturel has been on one side, whereas the other side have just dealt with like inconsequential events. So they're just thinking, oh, what's the point of us going this far?
Yeah, you know, Kaya has spent a lot of the time with the high five, trying to convince herself that she's just here because it's convenient and not because she wants to be here. And now that she's realized that she's really worried about losing like Seymour, she's just she's just really worried that, you know, she's gonna lose him somehow. So
Would you, if he was to leave, would you go with him?
yeah, probably. I can't for the life of me think of a reason why Kaya would not go with Seymour.
What about Hattie? Bestest bud.
Kaya doesn't want to leave, I don't think. But Kaya wouldn't let Seymour go on his own.
Yeah. Kai doesn't want to leave for the fact that Seymour is also in the group right now.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's not that Kaya doesn't have any reason to stay. It's just that Kaya if Seymour leaves, Kaya has a bigger reason to go.
Yeah,
and she has to go meet up with her friends. She almost left already. Like she did the bridge thing.
Yeah.
She's really just here because she likes hanging with you guys. Like she has no reason to go to road to Elturel. But
She's no reason to be in this campaign.
But she's
she
here.
doesn't. I
But
mean,
she is.
yeah. So yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen there.
How would everyone feel if Kyra and Seymour just left?
That's a good question.
If we're in
Hattie
the
wouldn't be happy. She'd try and persuade everyone to go and stay together, or like.
Snipe would understand, especially Kaya leaving. Now, especially now more than ever, understand why Seymour's leaving.
Yeah,
But,
what did Snipe feel when during the Kaya and Snipe interaction, the very first interaction in the session, for Kaya to kind of be like, "Hey, Snipe,
Yeah.
we've been doing a lot for you here. Could you be a little nice?"
Snipe did understand what you said, but it's a case where it's like, okay, they understand, but they don't know. So because you guys didn't tell us that you fought a cult, like you didn't tell us exactly what happened and like how stressful it became, all the strange situations that you discovered along the road while stuck in Triel. Like Kaya never revealed. Kaya, I don't think, is ever going to reveal that like City is a Harpel, like one of her family, and that is another thing going on. So Snipe understands, yes, something was going on outside, but they will never know. And if you keep quiet about what actually happened and how things went on, Snipe will continue to be in that situation of like, okay, I understand things were bad for you, but we went through some shit too. So
yeah, but I mean, what Kaya did say is that they risked their lives. They nearly died a couple times, and that Seymour had a really rough time. So she didn't go into a lot of detail, but she did say that like, and that like everything that they've done over the last couple days has been to help Snipe, and Snipe knows. Yeah, that they found
Snipe
the ritual.
Snipe has nothing against Kaya because they know Kaya's done that. They know Kaya would go that far to do that. They're more on the case of just Seymour in general. It's just the case where it's like, okay, if you really did go through some hard stuff, then tell me what you went through, because I hate being left in the dark of the whole situation. And if you're going to hold a grudge against me about me being like up my own arse about it, then prove me wrong. Tell me what you did. Yeah. So that I will learn the lesson, and you can then have a right reason to be so up your own arse about where you've been. Well, I've also been struggling.
On a couple notes, if Snipe asks Kaya what happened, Kaya would be completely 100% truthful and tell them everything. And I think
Snipe would definitely like trust Kia to like tell exactly what's happened.
Yeah. So I think that Kaya was hoping that Kaya was hoping that with the chat with Snipe that she would encourage Snipe to go ask Seymour what happened, or to ask her what happens. But like, so if Snipe asks, they'll 100% talk about it. Like it's not like it's a secret or anything.
Yeah. Right now, Snipe was just kept quiet. There is a situation where, depending on how the fuck this reincarnation thing is going to go, and what occurs afterwards, that Snipe will literally just like have all weights taken off them and just like sit down in front of like Hattie and say, so what's Candlekeep like? Or sit down in front of Kara and said, so how are you? So like there'd be a time where Snipe just like stops worrying about what the fuck is going on in the background of what they've caused and would just sit down and just like take in what's in front of them.
Yeah.
But right now they're just not in that mindset, obviously, because they're dying. So
yeah, I think that would be really interesting. I think that if the tensions between Snipe and Seymour increase anymore, Kaya will kind of be like, okay, fucking sit down, talk like adults, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if kind of Snipe, or just one of us, kind of forgets all the anxieties of like what's happening and just sits down and says like, okay, so we kind of like, we know about each other and we know like bits and pieces of what's been happening, but how are you? What's Candlekeep like? What's your deal like with this demon? Like we kind of, we know about it in vagalities, but we don't really know.
Yeah, you all want to go back to Baldur's Gate.
Like,
what's in Baldur's Gate? What's like, who are your friends? And all that kind of stuff.
Like it would be interesting to have someone to have the weight lifted off of them and to be able to have the conversations that you would normally have with people face to face that adventurers don't have the time or the mental capacity to have. I think that would be really interesting. Yeah. Because it could just be enough for all of us to go, oh yeah, right, yeah.
We're friends. Oh yeah.
Get out of this bucket of, self-loathing.
Snipe really wants Snipe really wants to reach that point, but they were kind of waiting for it to come upon them naturally, and ever since they were split in two, they knew, okay, I'm gonna have to put this on hold because I'm fucking dying. And so Snipe's been basically waiting for the time where everything just has that absolute moment of calm where they can just sit down and say, okay, so who are you? Like the people who blackmailed me into joining your group back in Daggerford all those whiles ago, who are you?
Yeah, we need like a, not another RP session. We don't need another campfire session. Don't worry, Jenks. No. I'm talking, we need like to just like have a drink, and just kind of like hang out.
Yeah, I think that's
actually like when we have that one moment where everything's set and nothing's going on in the background, or there's a little respite where whatever fates and gods are having a discussion, just like, can you give us a hot minute? We need to discuss the plots going on here.
Yeah, that will be
with the chess
like
pieces
after we've done with Elturel. That's
like right now what we have is all of these like small chats between two people about secrets that half of us don't know about. Yeah. We don't even I don't think we need to necessarily have that in a moment of respite. I think that's a great thing to have like right before the final battle, is to actually have all of us sit down and talk about things that are not that important and just kind of like have some fun and like make sure that we actually have some bonds, because Seymour brought up a really good point last session about how we met up and then like there were like a couple of interactions between Kaya and the group, but there were like none between Seymour and the group, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, we haven't really established friendships that well between any of us. Like not really. So I think it's
we're more teammates than friends.
Yeah.
Because there's still the relationship there. Like I think to say that we're not friends or like.
Yeah, we're more co-workers on a corporate team building exercise.
Yeah.
We don't actually know of each other, but like we're forced contractually to just get along with each other.
Contractually.
And I think we'll eventually become friends, but I think we need a downtime session where we just can sit and talk and maybe go to a festival or...
Yeah. There needs to be something good happen to us for us to have that kind of good vibe to carry it off.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like that kind of situation of where like we're going into the final battle of Elturel and everyone sits down and explains their story, that definitely feels like something Hattie would initiate, because Hattie's just like, okay, I need to take a hold of the history that's going to occur here. I need to know who was involved. So who are you? What is your life story? Because I will tell the tale.
When there's a moment in which we're not traveling and no one's arguing and we're not reincarnating someone, the normal checklist. I think Hattie wants to do like a dramatic retelling of everything they went through.
Yeah.
Amazing. Would Hattie maybe take a class in Bard? Because Bard's like storytelling and like
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We come across a really large bar with a theatre, and Hattie's just like, that was my chance.
The thing is, it's been like, I did think, like I haven't talked about this with Jenks, but I did think about it because Orgma is one of the gods that bards would worship, or like a god of bards or something. So like it's not on the table.
No, it's a possibility. Yeah.
And a high.
What's Hattie's charisma?
pretty. I think
It's got to be high, right?
Yeah, I think like
Because
15 or 14, I believe. Last time I watched it.
Patty's
I
very
typed
endearing.
it.
Give me. I got it here. Charisma is 11.
11. Okay, yeah, no.
That's not too bad.
You can
though.
up it,
You can
yeah.
just
Good
up
enough.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for Bard. You'd have to wait a while.
Yeah.
Have to
Also-
wait until level. What level are we now?
It's 6.
6.
So you'd have to wait until level 9 because you'd have to take level 8 for the ability score improvement, and then
Yeah.
level 9 you could go one level as Bard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I've looked up. What I think Reina is. I think Reina has a little bit of Asperger's. Asperger's.
Asperger's syndrome.
Asperger's. I
Yeah.
don't know how to pronounce it in English.
She's-
I think she's like, it's not, just a bit, like not extremely, but I think that's what I was thinking of.
Someone is cutting down a tree outside.
Outrageous. Cut them down.
I'll close your window.
How much? Wow, the English language, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna flip through. Life.
Do we have any other conversations? Yeah, we had Raina and Seymour had a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, Carmen? Has Raina's opinion about Seymour, is it better or worse now that
It's
we're
better.
back together?
Yeah. No, Reina is very fond of this group. She likes everyone in it, and she.
That's a first.
Yeah, Hilra is a bit iffy.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, Hilra is a little bit iffy. But the rest of the group she really adores. Like, she adores Hattie as a little sister. Snipe is just someone who interests her because she likes learning, and she likes. It's just because Snipe is from a different world that just very much interests her. Jesus, words, grammar. Don't add me. Even though Kaya is a bit iffy, she still really likes the personality of Kaya.
Mhm.
And just adores how open and nice she is. So, and Seymour is just, even though they hadn't talked much, she does really like Seymour, and she sees him as a good person, as a good, as a kind soul, basically. Someone who has a good heart and wants to do good.
Sorry. Sorry, I got distracted. Whiskey sent a fucking meme in our group chat.
Oh god.
It's very relatable.
Oh yeah.
Which one? What?
It's
The
not in
Warlock one.
our one.
Yeah.
The Road to Elthrow.
Yeah.
It's
We're all
true.
looking.
Yeah, just bear with us. There are memes happening.
Yeah,
Memes
memes
are-
are.
most important.
We take a sidetrack to meme.
No. But yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, the talk with Seymour was something Reina needed, because like Seymour said, Reina hasn't been looking out for herself. She's only been
Yeah.
looking towards the others and what they need.
Yeah.
So giving that little bit of a reminder to Reina is something she needed without knowing she needed it.
Yeah.
So that was a good conversation to have.
Fair enough. We are coming up to the hour mark.
Yes.
One more conversation that we had during
Okay.
Road to Elthrow. What
Yes.
did Hattie think of the conversation that Kaya kind of awkwardly started while Hattie was working on her books?
What was that? That was.
It was the
Look, don't.
It was the,
expect
it was what I called the Iron Giant, because you literally said the line, "You are
Oh.
who you choose to be," and I was just
Yeah.
I was so tempted to just go, "Oh god."
I've never seen the Iron Giant.
No, but that is literally the line in the fucking film that's always repeated, which is "You are who you choose to be," and so Kaya telling
That's
Hattie
beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
It's just
So the correct me if I'm right. The
It was about
conversation
the
was about
Lonely
the Lonely
Tower.
Tower and why
Yeah.
she didn't get up there.
yeah. And then you had the most wonderful Hattie.
Just great Hattie moments.
Yeah.
in that,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the good old days.
Yeah, no, Hattie was very purposefully being evasive.
Mhm.
Like there are times when she doesn't realize she's doing it. but she like really hammed it up because she really didn't want to
Tell the truth.
yeah, she didn't want to explain that she lied, and that her intention was, when she was at the Lonely Tower, to steal and to take knowledge and take it back to Candlekeep. She doesn't...
You mean not to steal? Because Hattie said that she was gonna, yeah.
To not to steal, and to... My god, my memory is awful. Excuse me. Yeah, so she wanted people to believe that she wanted to take the knowledge back to Candlekeep and steal, right? But she was in, like, she would... I don't think if she went to the Lonely Tower now, it would be the same experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then she was doing kind of a... She was kind of questioning a lot of stuff when she was there.
She was
some sort of a test
mechanics.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did get a cool book at the end of it, though.
She did.
And then an existential crisis.
Yeah.
Which she told Kaya about, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like big
for
sister vibes, you know.
the thing for Kaya was like she saw Hattie, talk to the door and then not make it all the way up to the Lonely Tower, and then have like weird like identity crises while they were traveling. That they had like addressed it all because the situation had never really come up for it. And I think Kaya just really wanted to, because like I think Kaya,
Taking notes.
I think Kaya does quite. She has like a weird fondness for Hattie, and she just wanted to make sure that Hattie understood, especially after Hattie told her that she didn't know who she was, or any of that. Was like Kaya just wanted Hattie to understand that like it doesn't matter, right? Like Kaya doesn't at all understand why Hattie's looking up her past to begin with, because she just doesn't think it matters at all, and it doesn't make who Hattie is in any way, shape, or form.
I think, like Kaya is very much a personality or a person that doesn't like to look into the past and can change up every single time how they are perceived by the rest, and doesn't let the past define them. And Hattie is actively searching through and rummaging through everything that she knows of herself from the past. And Kaya's like, well, you can change up who you are whenever you want. So
you are who you choose to be.
Yeah, like what do you care what some random voice said in a tower? Like it doesn't matter.
If you don't want to see it, you can ignore it and just move on.
Yeah.
I think if Hattie had the opportunity to go back to the Lonely Tower, like if we were walking past, she'd go back in.
Yeah, what would she say?
She wouldn't lie this time.
She would steal them.
She would steal the books.
And be 100% honest with it. And it's like, well, you were honest, so we can let you in, but at the same time, you're going to...
Wasn't the thing of like that Janks was like, if you had been like, yeah, I'm going to steal the books, and no, I'm not lying.
You
would
would
have
have been
let
that
you
through. Yeah.
Yeah, but you purposefully said, oh, I was lying about stealing the books, like...
Yeah.
Because I think your intention was like, oh, you genuinely did want to help Snipe, but...
Yeah.
You had the
covering
hidden
it up.
guilt of thinking, I want to steal the books, but James asked, like, did you really want to steal the books? And you said no, and he said, okay, so you lied. So
if you
didn't
think
get
my
it.
ADHD riddled brain has the capabilities of remembering.
Oh, don't worry, my memory obsessed brain does have slight memories of it.
No,
I think because Hattie basically said, if I'm here to help Snipe, and I'm not here to steal the books.
Someone go back and watch the podcast that we did on this episode and see what I said about it. But no, And
then get back to us on it.
You said, I remember quite well what you said. You said that, so exactly what you said to the door was like, I'm here to help Snipe, but I might also steal some books for Candlekeep.
Yeah.
And then Janks asked you, did you lie? And you said yes. Hattie has no intention of stealing any books because she just wants to help Snipe. And then in the podcast, you talked about how Hattie is unsure of her relationship with the High Five in relation to her relationship with Candlekeep, and she wants to keep up the facade that her primary and only loyalty is to Candlekeep, even though that is slowly changing. I think that's roughly what you said.
Yeah, that's.
And then she had the conversation with Elephant, and it changed again. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here, I literally wrote down lied about stealing the books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that episode of I can't remember what decisions I made for my own character, I think we're gonna take a break here. Because I'm fading away slowly because I've just realised I forgot to eat today.
Go eat.
Go eat. Yeah.
Jesus.
Also, a reminder for chat: drink, go eat. If it's
Yeah.
hot, drink loads of water.
Pasta, water,
Stretch, do anything.
don't do drugs, eat your teeth.
Take care of your body.
Your teeth.
Yes. Eat your teeth.
Do at least 8 hours of drugs a day.
Okay, it's time to go.
Stay in drugs, don't do school.
We're not take any of this advice. We are gonna take a bit of a break. We'll be back soon.
Only 8 hours.
Hello, and welcome back from our break. I have consumed food, and hopefully my brain will function now. Everyone else has discussed things that we were actually meant to be talking about. So, Crimson Petal. We're at kind of like an interesting point where we've like made a deal with someone, kind of. Rascal is still out of working order. Is the best way.
Out of touch, out of time.
He's there, but not
Rascal's
physically.
chilling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kia and Boy have created a weird argumentative type relationship or friendship or...
Oh yeah, where did that come from?
It's so fun.
I think that was just Becca and Soph going
That was,
at it.
yeah, that was
It was just
literally
you two
just-
going
I was-
at each other.
I noticed it was going that way, and I was just like, "Now you know what? Let's roll with it. This is how it's gonna be."
Fully
between
lean into
me and
it, yeah.
Boy."
The thing is, I think based on how, like, self-assured Kia is, and
Yeah.
just, like, upfront, versus Boy's, like,
Boys
dry
Del Boy
sense of-
situation.
Yeah, Boy's
Yeah.
Del Boy situation. It's
Yeah.
like, there's no way something like this wouldn't have happened, and Boy's kind of been a bit quiet, but, like, this is the first time Boy has just been out there being himself, and Kia's
Yeah.
like, fuck this, no.
Yeah.
This idiot.
Yeah, I saw you
Funny,
guys.
I like him, but this idiot?
Yeah.
I was like, you guys were arguing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it go on for a little bit, and then I'm gonna intervene with like Rascal being confused why these two people are just like.
That's amazing. So, there's a fucking show called Morecambe and Wise, and there's like a scene where like they play out plays, and one of them plays like the slapstick character, and there's the scene where like they're playing between one actor who's shouting at another, and they're like in a Roman setting, so there's heads everywhere, and so he just like sits on one of the pillars and stares between them, and then he starts moving the head with them as they look backwards and forwards.
Amazing.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
no.
remember that one.
What do you think of it so far? Rubbish.
I was just like, I need to put a bit of
Comedy
lightness,
gag.
yeah, comedy in this
Yeah.
conversation
Because
because
to
it
be
can
honest,
go
we
on.
argued about nothing. What we were
Yeah.
actually arguing about was just... I don't even know what we were arguing about.
About your mood and like why are you so cocky and because
It was
you
just-
Kia literally said you're standing here hands on hips.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is just how I am.
Yeah,
Basically
so-
about you guys' attitude towards each other.
Yeah, and of course a height insult.
Yeah.
But on Boy's behalf, insulting his own height.
Yeah, no, they were just like, it was just like stupid bickering. It was like between siblings or something.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. I'm glad that happened. That's been,
Yeah.
some of the most
It's the
It's
smaller
been,
moments that count.
my favorite comedic RP moment in Crimson
Yeah.
Petal so far.
Yeah.
I don't think it's my favorite RP moment of the entire campaign, but
Yeah.
it's like between me and another character.
Generalized RP, it's something else. In terms of comedy RP, this is
Yeah.
It was just so much fun to watch, even. Like, you
Yeah.
guys going at each other and just being like, just sitting there like, yeah, this is fun to watch.
You can definitely tell the difference between either, I don't know if it's just like between me and Becca or between Boy and Kia, of like Kia just sitting back like a fucking Eric Andre show, just in the chair, just speaking, and then Boy just like being dramatic, throwing his arms around.
Yeah, just sitting there nonchalantly in
Like,
bed.
So I
and
imagine
just
the whole
boom.
time
Boom.
Boy was standing on the table as like Kia's
Like-
just sitting back, just like, yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's just like, hey Boy, look at me, bitch.
It works so well because it's really sibling energy of like the oldest sibling and the youngest sibling going at each other. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's so good. It was
Yeah.
so fun, and I adore if this is the relationship that Kia and Boy are having. That's just
Yeah, it's gonna get one of us killed, but right now,
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it as well because it was so much fun to do.
yeah, it
And
was
to
very
play
fun
out.
to do.
It was nice that.
Yeah. And
It
everyone
was-
had their own little moment, 'cause, like Blue played in Oakley, just like trying to part between the parents.
Okay.
It was, okay, this
Calm
one
down,
needs to
calm
calm
down."
down.
Yeah. It's like it's one thing that I learned. Like I didn't realize how much I based my own RP off other people sitting around the table until my internet went out. Was it the road to out?
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could, because I was on my phone, I could
Yeah.
only see the person who was speaking.
Mm.
I couldn't see anyone else's reaction. So when there was the RP moment on the car with Kaya, the only way I knew I wasn't like off the mark tonally was because I could hear Soph laughing every now and then.
Me and Dave just giggling
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
background.
that was the only way that I was like confident in what I was doing. So
Yeah.
to be able to like
Yeah.
actually watch like the
kind of
the
inner
argument-
performances
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you want, and it's like, well, the audience doesn't laugh. I know that I've crashed on
Yeah.
stage, but the audience is laughing, so I shall continue the
Yeah.
performance.
that's-
Bouncing off the others in the group
Yeah.
really improves RP. I feel like.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Absolutely.
that's doing it with you, Soph, is so much fun.
I know. I so enjoy
Improv
it
with
as well.
you is so much fun. Because
I
it's
love
just I don't know.
I don't know, because we kind of both set each other rough, where it's just like, I've made a verbal error in this communication, and in other words, I would be humiliated, but no, for the comedy gag,
gonna
they
go
get to
for it.
deliver the punchline.
Yeah.
I'm fully leaning into this. I don't care
Yeah.
if it looks stupid. Let's just go for
I don't
it.
care, because that's the whole point of Boy, is that he thinks he's not stupid, but even I, as a player, know he's a fucking idiot. So of course he's got to be stepped down a peg, and I'm so happy when like people come in to say, "Okay, you're a piece of shit, you idiot."
Yeah. It's just like the trust and the give and take of RP is just
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best part of D&D.
Yeah.
agreed, 100%. But those shoes, what is the plan with those goddamn shoes?
Oh, the only thing I wanted to do was to make Boy just a little bit higher, so he wasn't
Yeah, it's
as
just-
suspicious
it's
in
just to make
disguise
him
self.
taller.
Because he's 3 foot, and like these insectoid creatures are quite big. So for them to just have this tiny insectoid, it's like a child wearing like knight's armor, just like clunking along. It's like it's obviously not going to work. So all Boy wanted to do was make stilts,
Yeah.
and Dave just went, "Nah, let's have some fun with this. They're Arcana stilts."
But now, the thing was, first we wanted to make Boy taller, and then we thought, wait, how is Boy going to be able to touch the ground?
Yeah.
That's how the extendo shoes were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love that you implemented that Boy probably had put in the same mechanism as for those little
Well, yeah, because like.
insectoids.
Yeah, because like Dave said, oh, let's have fun with it, and so obviously he's like, okay, it's not going to be functional. But then we actually made a functional thing that could be used in past. I was like, okay, it is a bit unfair because we were going to use it as like just a joke, so we are going to use it as a function. There's got to be a disability to it. So
Yeah.
obviously, Boy's going to craft it in a way where
Yeah.
it breaks every now and again.
Yeah. What was it called again when Percy's gun blocks?
Misfire?
Misfire,
Mhm.
yeah. Because in
Fire,
Critical Role,
no, miss.
Percival has guns, and whenever
Yeah.
he rolls, I don't know what the spectrum is, but when he rolls below a certain number, his gun misfires, and he needs to take an action to repair it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was like, if you wanted to put a disadvantage on yourself, why if you roll between a 1 and a 3, something happens and you have to take an action to fix it again.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think the extendo shoes actually have a use outside
No.
of being taller, so I
Yeah.
think it's fine either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be
Getting
for
into
performative
windows,
effort.
though?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, how far do they extend? Did we like? It's not more than a foot, right? Like, it's not
No,
gonna-
but Boy just wanted to be at least a foot higher,
We
so
could
that he
upgrade
can
them.
then go a little bit foot higher, because then he can extend about 2 feet, which would be
Yeah.
round about 5 foot, which would work
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah, one day we will upgrade them and we'll have them go like 10
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
Like
Boy's so
how to
proud
extend
that
those
Boy,
sticks.
Yeah.
Boy
Mhm.
walks barefoot as well, so he's very proud that for his very first own pair of shoes, it's these. He's got.
Amazing. I loved last episode. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
How
What
are-
else happened?
How are people feeling about Rascal though? Still
Yeah.
being out of it.
How are your characters feeling? Like how?
I mean,
How-
it's been like an hour since we last like in
Yeah.
game, so like nothing has really changed in the way that he
Well,
was feeling.
Now it's been a day because we slept.
Yeah.
It's a bit less than a day.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we know that we can't fix him, and we know that nothing around it is gonna fix him. So like I don't feel like anyone's opinions about anything would have really changed because we know that like we can't fix it.
I mean, with Kia, she's kind of now that they know they can't fix him. Why do I struggle so much?
I don't.
I'm
I
so
don't know.
sorry. Yeah. So now Kia knows that we can't fix them. She's kind of in the mindset of like how, like, what version of Rascal are they? Like, because they're still Rascal, she can see that, but like, it's not like there's someone else controlling their thoughts or whatever. So her perspective is kind of why is there kind of, because in any normal state, Kia would never even think about holding Rascal's hand, right?
Yeah.
And she kind of gets the feeling if she tried, it would kind of be like batted away. At least to some extent. Unless in like really specific circumstances. So the idea
Is it the case of Kia is like not exactly taking advantage, but like has seen a situation where it's like, this is a version I've not seen. I'm
Yeah.
going to test to see how
Yeah.
they would react.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's kind of aware that it's, as I said, like it's still Rascal, it's just a different version and kind of maybe a simplified version of who they are.
Yeah.
So she's really intrigued that they allow her to hold their hand and interact with them on a level in which they wouldn't normally
yeah.
do it.
And if it is a case of like the pair of them are aware that like they do have like something special for them, Kia's like taking the opportunity of like, okay, so every facade that he's ever had is gone. I'm gonna see if like whatever feelings he had for me are genuine. So that's what
I
he's
mean,
testing.
he pulled Kia into a pool at one point, so
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting because we talked about Rascal having a mask and not being able to, not showing himself like who he truly is. And I said something very special had to happen.
Yeah.
And then the feeble mind happened, and I'm like, oh, okay, it
Yeah,
happens a lot sooner than expected.
Here's the special
Yeah,
something.
there we go.
No, like literally, I was like, okay, something very extreme has to happen for him to change up his ways, to show himself to be honest.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and I'm like,
did we decide or work out that they would remember all of this?
Yeah, they would remember, yeah.
How do you think, if Kia keeps going in the same kind of vein that they are, how do you think Rascal would react when they're back to themselves?
he would be out of his mind for like a week. He would be trying to escape everything that's been going on.
Embarrassed.
Yeah. And he would be mostly ashamed of himself. And not because he did anything wrong or Theodore or any other character did anything wrong, but because he dropped his facade, because he was unable to do anything about it. Because ego got the better of him and got him pushed into a pool of or water. Like, so he would be angry at himself for the first like week, and then after that, I don't know how the other characters would respond, but if they would like talk to him, I don't know how he would react. He would be extremely confused and just pissed off, basically.
But like after he's calmed down, how do you think?
How would he approach?
Yeah.
Kia?
He would be definitely more interested. Because it also, if he remembers it, it also confirms that she is not just there because
A contract.
Yeah.
That is like
And,
the main
you know-
stumbling block, right?
Yeah. And he's a 24-year-old boy.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah. Wait.
So yeah.
How old did I say Kia was?
I don't know.
You
I
never
think you
said. I
dropped
don't think
it.
you've ever said how old Kia
No,
was.
I don't think I have.
like what I
You've
asked
given us.
it
You've
at
given
one
us.
point.
You've given us an age range.
Yeah.
She's an elf, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would the?
He's
Oh, it's-
24?
this is gonna
He's
be
24.
interesting.
Oh,
Wow.
Kia's like late 30s, right? In
Yeah.
human years.
Human
Late 30s.
years. Maybe early 30s? Early 30s. Like, she's definitely in her 30s.
Mhm.
34, I would say. Like, if I was to put a specific number on Kia's age, I'd say 34.
Really? I always thought she was like 37.
Yeah, I would say if
Then she would be around
if Becca
200s.
says early 30s, I'd say 34. If they said like nearer towards the 40s, I would say like
I can't
36.
believe I don't know why this
Elf
is-
aging is weird because for elves it's like, I believe, when they reach 100, they've
It's
reached
maturity.
adult
Yeah.
maturity,
Yeah.
but afterwards they don't really
They don't
like age in the same way
No.
that humans do. So like after 100, like they're fully like mentally developed, so
Yeah.
nothing changes for the next like 800 years.
Yeah.
They don't like decline.
Yeah, they don't have
Yeah.
like they also don't have they don't have anything afterwards. Like we have these adolescent, and then we have early adulthood, and then we have late adulthood, and then we
Yeah.
have and then we have like
Old
seniority
age.
and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
our brain changes every single time, but elf
Mhm.
brains don't change after one.
Yeah, they stay pretty much the same.
So, so 30, like 37 or 34
Yeah.
could be anywhere between 200 and like 600 years.
Yeah.
We've got the relationship of Arwen and Aragon, but if Aragon had horns, is what this relationship is.
Yeah, no, that's also why I find it very interesting, because Kia is an elf and she will live for a very long time.
Yeah.
Aska will only live for like 120 years.
I'm
So
just
it'll be
seeing
a
if I
small portion.
Oh no. Okay, so I was asked how old Kia was, and the response I gave to Dave, our DM, was that she's in her late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
An answer to the question. It's canon. It's known by
It's canon.
It is canon.
I
Cat has
hereby-
been fired. Tis cannon has hit the wall. Caused much destruction.
I didn't realize it was 24. Jeez, that's blown my
Hmm.
mind a little bit. I am
Okay,
following a
hmm.
child.
Yeah, no, it's
And Rascal's going for a cougar.
I'm not where this is going.
yeah, no, it's very.
Wait, does Kia have MILF energy?
No, Naomi, why?
We done it! We reached the
Yeah,
point!
we reached it.
We've covered all
cannot-
genres.
I
of-
cannot be the only person who thought of that.
Yeah, but you were the only
I
one
didn't want to
saying
say
it.
it.
I've got out of focus. This is the level of.
Yeah, no, it's a very confusing relationship, because if Kia is like the late 20s, early 30s, that's like 200, between 200 and 400. And Rascal's
It's a lot more
24.
lifetime.
Yeah. He is one of the youngest siblings of his family. The eldest is 37.
It's funny, like there's the difference of age ranges, because like in technical actual chronological years, like for example, Boy is like reaching 70 years. So he's been alive for 70 years, but for gnome age, that's him just entering like the early adulthood for his kind. So he is technically younger in that sense than Rascal. So like he would be on the ages of like 24.
Yeah.
And Neela's the youngest, to nobody's surprise.
Do Kalishstars live 100 years or?
Kalishstars, I think, age the same as.
Yeah, I think age the same as humans, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
Because you know, if you think about ages and aging, our characters will probably be on an adventure for like a year, maybe 2 years.
Oh, they reach adulthood at 40.
Wow.
Whoa, okay, so
Neela is like, it's like taking a toddler with us.
Neela's a child.
Neela really is a child.
But didn't you, I mean, am I correct in saying that, like, you did kind of want to play a slight child character, but Dave said don't make them under the age of 18, just for like, safety reasons.
Neela's original age was 15.
Yeah.
And I aged her up to 18. But I mean, Kalishtar reached adulthood at 40.
You still got what you want. I mean, we've also got everything protected and that.
I know, really. We are taking a child to, like, hell.
Yeah, I mean...
and she's probably coping with it a lot better than the majority.
I don't know about that one.
Well, in terms of reading the situations in an intelligent, logical way, Neela's able to think like...
That's true. Neela kind of took over in last session. I was kind of surprised at that. But, like... Yeah.
Well,
the thing was, like...
Yeah. I think like, if it was gonna be a choice of like taking over from Rascal, if Rascal reduces the intelligence, it would take an intelligent person to take the role. It's not gonna be Boy, because Boy would abuse that entire role. Boy knows this, so he kind of let Neela take charge.
Here's the thing, like Neela does not take charge ever.
Yeah.
Right, but like in that situation, I mean, me as a player, I love planning ahead. I love when the DM is like, you have 2 days before your battle, or you have a couple hours, because then we get to do all sorts of weird shit, and we didn't really get to like go into it. I think if we had like an actual like in session hour to plan, we could have gotten like a whole shit ton of stuff done. It would have been really fun,
but it wouldn't have been funny. It wouldn't have been that spontaneous as funny.
No. True. One, it would have been funny. Two, we were close to the end of the session, and nobody wanted to plan for that long.
No.
Yeah, so
Boy and Kia were arguing too long.
And 3, actually nobody at that point in the session was actually planning anything at all. So I was like, all right.
I'm gonna do something.
Yeah, I think it was the case for like the person that we'd come across, the stranger, that like they were highly magical, and we were just thinking the most magically in tuned person in the group is Neela, so we'll let her take control because the rest of us will probably fuck up a lot more. Have a higher chance of fucking up the whole situation.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an interesting like situation for Neela to be in, where Neela's like, all right, if I don't take over, we all gonna die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's survival more than anything.
Which is I think the only possible situation Neela would ever take over, if they're like, I really don't want to die.
Yeah, Neela's terrified. Yeah, Neela's terrified of everything, and if she knows, like, oh, I could be in peril if everyone else is in peril, someone has to take charge. No one's gonna do that. Fuck it, I don't want us to die. So.
Yeah, for Neela, it's like if they don't feel protected, they have to take care of themselves, right? And in this case, that was the best way for them to take care of themselves, was to make a plan.
Yeah. No, Kia, like, even though I think it's kind of seen as Kia being like the obvious person to take charge next, she's very much more of a seconding command person.
Yeah, vice president.
Which I think I've discovered more in that session, because Kia had no desire to be like stepping up and organizing shit.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I was like, very sure that Kia would like step up, but
that's funny because like previously, before the whole situation of like proper interactions with Rascal, you did discuss the idea that like Kia would be the one to take charge of the group, because she got so angry at the group at the very beginning, where it's like, can you please just do what I think is okay? But now she seems to have gotten like let go of that now.
I think it's because before it was a case of people are doing stupid things because they're dangerous. Now they're in a dangerous situation, and like anything is a stupid idea because they're here. So she's like, well, I mean, like anything.
You can try anything. It could go every way you possibly can think of.
Yeah.
Like, if the plan was inherently dangerous and she didn't agree with it, she would be like, yo, bad idea. Let's not do that. However, because the plan isn't like ridiculous or whatever, she's like, sure, let's go with it.
That's right.
Yeah, it was interesting because Kia was kind of like criticizing, right? You were kind of criticizing Boy on him working on stuff for the plan.
Yeah.
And that's where like the banter came in. So I think that's probably
like there's not going to be an issue of explaining when Kira is serious about her criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's just like bored,
being sarcastic,
and wants to, like, poke
like
someone.
Boy could read that in a way
Yeah.
because Boy gets it a lot of just like sometimes he overtalks himself so much that everyone just goes, oh yeah right, and that's like and that's pretty much what Boy reads from Kia when like Kia just gives a sarky comment. It's just like, oh I see, and so it just kind of if anything, Boy just like takes that input and then translates it into like a spite fuel where it's like, well I'm going to make this so that I can prove you wrong.
No, it was just mainly like boredom
Banter.
and banter.
Yeah.
Like I think
Mila was
she
definitely
just do better in like an advisory second in command role.
Yeah.
Mila was definitely trying to get someone to take over. Like Mila was trying to get Oakley or Kia to take over, but it was just not.
Yeah, I think Oakley is not like Oakley is very, like Lou said, he probably rolls disadvantage whenever he goes into battle, whenever it's not his fight. So Oakley is not really one to make planning for ambushing anyone. He's very kind and kind-hearted.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't see him take the leader role in this type of situation.
Yeah. Well, not in this situation specifically, because an interesting thing to come up that we need to discuss: exhaustion points and what we can do and what we can't do. We're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Someone should have
to-
looked that up. I feel like all of us just kind of went like, I'm sure somebody looked that up.
I'm sure someone confirmed.
That's why I asked you. I hear me like, can I use Lesser Restoration? And I thought because you said with such confidence, yes, you can use it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, I should have actually looked it up, but I just heard someone, I can't even remember who, I just heard someone say you can do it, and I was like, okay, sure, yeah, you can do it.
I got like I think I might have got it confused because Reyna used Lesser Restoration. Oh, Jinx, are you okay?
She
Gotta help
got
my cat. Hold on.
she got hairball. Yeah.
Honey.
Oh, honey. Cat emergency. Bear with us, guys. This
Cat
is the first
emergency.
time this has happened on
So
the podcast.
as soon as I heard coughing, and I was just thinking, oh no, cat hairball or vomit or something, or because I'm so familiar with that sound.
Just like the knowledge of the cat owner.
Yeah.
Is
Probably
she
just a
okay?
hairball.
All good?
She's good.
Yeah.
She just
Hairball.
got something stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't throw up. She just got something stuck. She's okay.
Okay.
Continuing.
I'm worrying about other people's pets that I haven't met before.
What was I talking about?
Lesser
saying something.
Restoration.
Lesser Restoration, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I believe we used Lesser Restoration for Reyna to clear of... Because Hattie made that weird drink with everything and...
Oh yeah, it was scared of drunkenness.
Yeah, and
Get over the
I think
hungover.
that I got that confused with exhaustion points. Because I was like,
it would be similar.
yeah, but...
Yeah, no, we should have absolutely just looked. I should have
looked it up,
before.
read the spell. Yeah. But we didn't. It's fine. We'll learn
It was
afterwards.
also like during the session, I was like, should I look it up? And I was like, nah, they
Yeah.
probably know what they're talking about.
God. We're
Always
gonna get
check.
that a lot. Although it
Yeah.
is fun to get one past Dave for like the majority of a session because he
Yeah.
is the one to just go, hang on, and then like just pause us to say, no,
Yeah.
you can't do that. So it was
You-
funny for the time being. to
That
just
we,
get the upper
that we
hand.
were so convincing that he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I also
Of course, it
love
was me trying to do that.
what you guys don't get, high audience, is that roughly around 1 a.m. after every Sunday session, we get like updated notes from Dave. Whether that's
Yeah, Dave just
a
then-
house rule he's changing,
Yeah.
or something that went wrong in session, or something that he has
It's
changed.
because he rewatches them, right?
Yeah, he
takes
rewatches
notes.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
and goes
crazy
over and-
person.
He records the hours.
I have not rewatched a single thing that we've put up on this.
He just rewatches them because we stream them so he can rewatch them. That's basically
Yeah.
what we
He
do.
doesn't
Yeah.
care that it's live and there's an
No.
audience. What
Yeah, he
cares
doesn't.
about
He
is
doesn't
the fact
care
that
about
he
this
gets
company,
through
and he cares
yeah.
about his own campaign.
No, that's not true, by the way.
That's
but
not true. Yeah, that's just sarcasm.
We love to have you here, by the way, everyone
Yeah.
in chat. And on YouTube and everything,
No, fuck you,
wherever you're gonna
chat.
see
Yeah,
this.
I mean, we do end the podcast saying "fuck you," so
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to. We don't do that anymore.
no,
No.
no,
Sure,
we
right.
just end the podcast with
now
without
we
even
just
saying goodbye
ramble
Yeah.
until we're sick of ourselves.
until Twitch crashes and cuts us out.
Till everyone leaves and they're like, you guys need to sit the hell down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go on a philosophical rant and then think, oh, we're live.
Yeah.
That's what happened last time.
Yeah.
Turned
Oops.
out I'm. Turned out whenever
yeah.
Naomi is here and you three are talking, you go into philosophical rants, and whenever I'm here, it just goes into chaotic.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
have
we
to
just-
like.
Guys,
cut that
you're,
out
it's
of the vlog.
totally cool if I just just go into
Yeah.
it to just go no stop
Yeah.
shut up.
No,
It feels
no.
like
Please
the
tell me to
problem.
shut up
It
more.
feels like the problem is me and Becca. Whenever we interact, and then everything else is just a catalyst.
I want to know
Yeah.
what happens.
It's you two
it's just
going off each
Naomi
other.
and
This is just the
Carmen
scientific experiment of what chemicals is causing such a
It's
reaction.
just you two going off each other, and then it's either me responding to it and making it chaotic, or it's Naomi responding to it and making
And
it
making it
philosophical.
deep.
Yeah. I want to know what. Okay, baseline. We've got to work out what me and Soph are like just on
Yeah.
our own on a podcast.
I think it's because we have slightly contrasting personalities that complement each other. Because
Yeah,
like,
you guys have great synergy.
Yeah.
yeah, because like you have like little bouts of ADHD where you go on a conversation, you get slightly like off track, and then you think, "Oh, what was I discussing?" But I remember, so I remind you, and then continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I just sit down and listen. And it was hilarious, like
You
listening to
actually
you two,
taken-
listening to Becca and Naomi literally argue philosophically, and I'm just sitting in the back, just like ha 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 ha.
Okay. Back to D&D, because
Yeah, here it is.
Thank
This
you,
is what
yeah,
it is.
there we go.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yes.
We can go on forever. I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total aside, I've never been told I have good synergy with someone.
What?
you
really?
guys are amazing
Yeah.
I
together.
feel like you get
yeah.
along with anyone, Becca.
Yeah. That
You
might just be
haven't met me in real
tolerance.
life.
What are you talking about?
What is happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's the
a
same.
lie.
It's well to connect it to D&D. It's the same kind of energy that Kia and Boy are now going to.
Yeah.
I'm just constantly ripping into each other.
Yeah. The thing is,
We
I don't get on with everyone. That's just, total
Life.
aside, I will one day tell this story in full, but there was a mature student
It's
at my university.
Not on the podcast.
This is not, I won't be explaining this on the podcast, but maybe I will have to, because people
As
might
you say,
ask.
as we are on the podcast.
But
I'm gonna
I'm
pull you
not
back
going
to
to
D&D
explain
in like
on the
10
The
minutes,
end of the
okay?
story. I don't get on with everyone. The proof is there was a guy at my university who was a mature student who turned round to a lecturer in front of me. Oh no, it was over email. It was over email that I was like involved in like the conversation, and he turned round to he was a 37-year-old dude. Turned round to a lecturer and said, "If I have to work with Rebecca, I will drop out of university."
What the fuck?
Damn.
Holy shit!
Damn.
The thing is, it was because he did something which was really, really gross, and I called him out on it.
Yeah.
And he got a warning from the university because of it. And
Oh,
then
so he was
a
a
little
cunt.
crybaby.
So he's just-
Yeah,
an
he
asshole.
was an asshole.
No, you get along with anyone except assholes.
Yeah.
I get along with everyone, but everyone.
I also want to tell a story, but I'm gonna keep it
Yeah,
to
we're gonna
D&D.
leave it because we
We-
will have that moment where we watch this
Yeah.
back and go through what Becca went, where it's like we should cut out this bit.
Yeah.
Cut this bit
Okay.
Cut this shit
Going
out.
back to
It's like
D&D.
my favourite story to tell. Like, yeah, there was an adult who was like, "I will drop out of university if I have to talk to this person."
That's amazing.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
yeah.
We got Crimson Paddle. We got a lot of information about what's going on in High Moon.
Yes.
A lot of information.
I
Oh
I
my
like how
God.
we managed to get it as well because, to be fair on Dave, he did message me afterwards and say he was panicking when he was doing this NPC because like he didn't know what to say, and I kind of took advantage of that slightly by basically he made the deal saying, "Oh, if you do this deal, I will tell you more information," and then Boy being a negotiator and like trying to sneak peek
Mhm.
more information, just decided to just like word questions so that he gave more information, and then he did give more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And then I just decided, well, Boy will probably call him up on it because as a negotiator and a bit of an arsehole, he would basically say, okay, thank you for all this information. Word of advice for next time you make deals with someone, don't give away the information you're promising to give
Yeah.
after you make the deal when it's not been certified.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing. talking to that Arcanoloth, which by the way, oof, an Arcanoloth.
Yeah.
But also talking to that person around like relatively early on in the conversation with it, Mila became incredibly mistrusting of this person.
Really?
Yeah, relatively quickly. Like
Why?
Mila does not, because like some of the first things he said were like kind of dodgy and weirdly like either like intrusive or feeling like he was trying to get something. Like like the entire conversation felt like he was trying to get something dangerous out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He
and
is.
that yeah, exactly.
It comes to the conclusion he is.
That pairing with where they are and like the fact that he's like all he wants is information constantly, and like in D&D information like is power quite literally with magic. Like with arcane arts, it's like he's just constantly looking for more power is really, really worrying for Neela, because Neela like knows people like that kind of, and so it was kind of interesting because Neela had this idea of like we should absolutely not make any sort of deal with this person. And if there's
the warning sign,
the amulet is here to warn us.
It's a bad deal.
Don't do it.
And if there's something that he wants, we should absolutely look at it first before we give it to him, right? Which was what Neela recommended they do. But like nobody around them seemed to like that idea, so that was quite like interestingly discouraging for Neela, because Neela's gives up relatively easily when it comes to things like that, right? So like the moment two separate people were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. They were
If
like,
Rascal would have been in that situation, he would have pushed for that idea. He would have presented the same idea of being like, we're gonna first get the book and then come back to you and talk to you.
And then
so we
make
have
the
some
deal.
ground to negotiate on.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, I think it's an interesting dynamic where, yeah, Neela can plan and the group will be like, okay, but Neela isn't allowed to make any of the big decisions, right? Which I think is it's interesting. It makes a lot of sense for their character because they would give up on these things very quickly.
Yeah. No, I because I was not allowed to say anything, because my character is not involved in it. I had so many things. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let you guys talk and do your stuff. But knowing Rascal, he would have done it so differently because he's a different person. I was like, when Neela introduced the idea of like first getting the book and then coming back to talk to him, I was like, do it. That's do it. Don't just say we're gonna come back to you, but first we're gonna do something else and we'll see you soon.
Ultimately, like as a player, I think it's fun that we've accepted the deal, and I think it's a great. It's gonna be fun either way. But as the character Neela was like a little disheartened.
Yeah.
Neela would not push for it.
Yeah.
But
Neela would not do it. Neela would absolutely not make a deal with this guy. That's why they would like someone else do it because I'm not doing it.
Kia did shake his hand and felt a little tingle, I believe.
Yeah. That's why Neela wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Little details.
Sir, absolutely not.
Yeah. If Boy was a little bit more intelligent, he'd have the same feelings towards that, saying like, yeah, this is a shit idea because this guy's obviously going to screw us over, and making this deal is a bad idea. However, Boy kind of did slightly know that, so tested the limits of it to see like if it was locked into any sort of like arcana or any kind of like curse within that way. So that's why he then pressed him after the deal was made of like the information. So it's like, okay, so there is no grounds here, so I screwed you over, I can do it again, and we will do it again before you can screw us over.
I don't know about that. I think
that
like,
it's not gonna be that way.
I can see a future where like we give him the book and it's actually the key that he needed to release all of these devilish forces to the rest of the world, or like something like that, you know, like come like
because you guys talked, well, he told about Seeker. You guys don't know who Seeker is, and Kia only knows the face but not the name. But he told that Seeker is very close to succeeding releasing Baal from the astral plane. So it's either he's gonna fuck with Seeker and fuck up their plans, or he's going to need the book to complete the ritual and release Baal.
I don't know about that. I don't think
he said he was put there in High Moon the way it was by Seeker.
Yeah, and
so
Seeker.
he's either purposefully working for Seeker, so as soon as he gets this book, he then gives it to Seeker.
Yeah.
or
I don't-
Working
it's an
against them.
argument.
I think
Yeah.
it's more likely that he's on his own team from
Yeah,
like what we
probably.
know about him
Yeah.
and a little
Yeah.
bit of meta knowledge, but I think from what we know about him as well,
yeah.
I don't think he's working for us or for Seeker or for Ball or for
Yeah,
any of
he's
that. I
working
think
for
he's just
himself.
looking.
just an independent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
he's
he's just
trying to
looking.
survive.
in the world.
I think he's just looking for more power, but I'm just very worried about what it means to give this person more
This book.
power. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we should read the book before we give it to him?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, the thing that makes me suspicious is that when Neela was spying on the fucking mozzarella dude, that whatever the hell we were talking
Yes.
about,
Lovely mozzarella dude.
when he was reading the book, he was getting angry. So like, either he couldn't read the book because it was withholding information, or there was something in it that like was.
I think he couldn't read it. I think that
No.
he was
Yeah.
like cipher on
Not
it.
intelligent enough.
Yeah. So it's got to be someone of high intelligence to read it. Also, or maybe Dave will fuck us over again as soon as we touch the book. We're all feeble-minded or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Also, that's interesting. The whole feeble mind shit is Boy managed to deduce that what was going on with the water to cause Rascal was something to do with the river Styx. But
Yeah.
Boy doesn't really know what is.
No, I actually think that the jackal guy told us about the river Styx.
Yeah, he did.
And we had to roll
Yeah.
to figure out what.
Yeah, and Boy doesn't.
Was-
Boy has only heard the name the river Styx, but that's
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
discussions of like when he was in the workshops back in
Mhm.
bottom.
Neela knows a little bit more.
Yeah.
Neela does know a little bit more, but that's interesting. That does mean probably we shouldn't use the liquid on anyone here. We should save it for
for
other things.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because the river Styx got brought into the city because a part of Colossus got moved into High Moon.
So it's in the lower planes has shifted.
Yeah.
Is what we've basically concluded is what's happened behind.
Yeah.
I love how many smart things are being said right now.
I was gonna say, yeah. Are you okay, Becca?
Yeah, yeah.
I just like fully disappeared from my brain for a hot second.
Oh yeah,
we all know that Becca has never been okay a day in her life.
In life, yeah.
No, I'm having a good day today. Today is
Yeah.
a good day.
Yeah.
Wait, have you been okay a day in your life though?
Yes, just
Today
for-
is today
Today
is
is
the
that
day.
day.
Today
Is the day.
the one good day of my life. No,
Yeah.
I've been. Yeah, no, I'll tell you that story afterwards. 'Cause...
No problem. Yeah. Well, maybe we could conclude talking about.
Yeah, do we have anything else to talk about?
Well, I mean,
Any
one
last
thing we can
thoughts?
ask is this fucking plan we've got gonna work?
No,
I think we all know the
absolutely
answer.
not.
No, it's not
Oh,
gonna work.
yeah.
Here are the problems with the plan. Here are the kinks that we have to work out. We need to pass without a trace. Everyone needs to stealth. We need to get there. We need to hide in a house. And then here's the big problem: is we somehow have to set it up where before Boy does his thing, or after Boy does his thing somehow, Kia and Oakley are able to stand right next to the trap without being seen in order to get their attacks once he's there. Neela has to concentrate on holding slow to cast it right before he gets into the trap. So they won't be able to do anything else. They can't do invisibility or anything like that because they're holding a spell, which is why they asked if anyone else has invisibility. Boy needs to get there, roll high enough on the deception check, or roll low on the deception check and have him chase after Boy,
Yeah.
run away, roll low enough to get hit by slow, then roll low enough to get hit by the snare trap, and then at that point still allow everybody else to have their like surprise attack round. So I don't think any
Yeah.
of that is gonna
There
work.
is-
And you also have the
well-
curveball called Rascal.
Yeah, well, there is
I
one
set
thing
up something
that-
with Dave.
Yeah,
that
Boy
might fuck
can
you guys
do
over.
something if the bit with Kia and Oakley fails and like getting him in the trap because Boy has lightning law. So if shit goes to shit, Boy can cast lightning law that then pulls him within 5 feet of him, and because it is in a 5 feet radius box, Boy can literally just stand over the trap, lightning law him, pull him closer, get him caught in the trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Also sounds for that.
absolute last
The
like
thing
thing
is,
that Boy
all
can
of
do.
those things like need actions, right? So we
Yeah.
also have to make sure that basically what happens is that we're able to stealth there, not get seen, have everybody like hold an action basically, or at
Yeah.
least what we're hoping for is a surprise round. Because during a surprise round, we can run out, we can do stuff. It's not just a held action; we get our movement too, right?
Yeah,
But I don't know if Dave's gonna like give us a surprise
He's
round
not.
or if
Hey Dave.
he's not
Hey.
because well, for one thing, it's a little bit of a disadvantage for the fact we've got a couple of people who are on exhaustion points, so
Mhm.
immediately it's going to be disadvantaged. So it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. We don't need we don't need advantage to get a surprise round, or we don't need to roll any ability checks to get a surprise round.
Yeah, no, but that's if we get a surprise round.
That's true. We do need a stealth, so that's our
Yeah.
big problem. Is all of that disadvantage stealth, even with pass without a trace, is going to be rough. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that part fails, we won't even have time to like set up the trap. Like it's all over, right?
Yeah. I think at this point, I'm just hoping that even though everything fails, it's a big enough a clusterfuck to can distract him so much that one of us at least grabs the book and then legs it, and that's it. And the rest of us just deal with the consequences.
If it's night or dark, Oakley can do that
is.
night step and get in
That's
in
the
contact.
thing. What
grab
Mila
the
originally wanted to do was have kind of like split the party a bit, like have two people go after the book and have the rest of them distract him somehow, like with illusions and stuff, which Neela could absolutely do, but people were like wanted to fight them more, so we had to figure out a way to fight them and give us an advantage. So I think that it's actually a lot smarter to be like major illusion, there's like an army coming after you or a dragon or whatever, to have them like fight that, cast some spells on them from a distance and then have other people run for the book. Cast blindness on them or whatever. But we didn't make a plan like that, so I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I also have to be honest, being Rascal and being in the state, I talked to Dave about it. Rascal can be a bit of a curveball into this entire situation.
Please don't run away.
Great, because that's what we need, more curveballs.
Yeah, I know. So yeah.
Yeah. Because the thing is, with Feeble Mind, you can still fight people who are
Not strategically. You can only, like, Rascal would not be smart enough to use his Crimson Right or any of his blood curses. So it
But
would
you
just
could
be an attack.
slash with sword.
Yeah.
So
But
better
what you're
than
saying
not
is,
hitting.
Yeah. What you're saying is there's a likelihood that Rascal
Rascal
is
will
going to
attack
see
us.
someone attacking his friends and just go and attack them,
That's a
Or run
possibility,
away.
and there are two other possibilities.
running away.
That's why Neela really thought it was not a smart idea to bring Rascal, because I don't think there's anything that Rascal can do to help, and it would have been better to.
Yeah, but also leaving him behind, he would probably follow you guys and also fuck you over basically. So if you guys would have left him there, even in like a secure place, he would have still tried to find you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Might get himself killed or you guys killed.
like there's no good way of dealing with
No.
it, but Kia's like point of view is like, if we keep Rascal with us when something goes wrong, we have Rascal there, or we know what's happened. So it isn't like we go back and we're like, oh, Rascal has disappeared. Now what?
Yeah.
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 Anyway, unless someone has something. How long have we been on stream?
The stream says 2 hours, but we had a 20-minute break. So we can answer some questions if we like.
Yeah, that's a good
If there's
point.
anyone there to ask questions.
Anyone.
Anyone?
Hello.
Is anyone still there?
There are people. We can also roll questions if we like, but
Yeah.
Should we roll some questions?
yeah,
I
let's
always
roll some
enjoy
questions.
the
This will be interesting. This might be the last set of
confusing
questions I might be
experience.
answering as snipe as
Snipe.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed always has questions. Can we have one
Drop
question
them.
from you, Ed, and then we'll start rolling questions as well?
Yes. Make it a good one, Ed.
Yeah. Make it a good one. This is your one
Yeah.
for this week.
One and only.
Yeah, the one and only.
Rolled a 12.
Oh, I need to write them down, of course.
It's too hot. My dice are sticking to me.
Oh, really?
I should open the window.
12.
Like I've rolled this before. Have I? Yes, I have. Just rolled 0.
0, 0? That's 100.
Zero.
That's 100.
Yeah, that's
Ooh. Wow, 100.
I just rolled all zeros. I was like, is there anything worse than a nat one? Yes, there is.
That's 100.
Ooh. When confronted with something new and
Something's
unknown.
happened. Something's happened. My brother just sent a text that said beers ordered.
Excuse me?
Can I get one, please?
Can I... thank you. In another county from me. Are you gonna... post it to me.
Post it.
Pour the beer into fucking...
Is he secretly at your house?
Becca, what did you roll?
I didn't roll anything.
Oh, you
I
didn't roll
generally
anything.
rely on other people rolling for me. However, we do have Ed's question, so we can count that as mine.
Okay.
I rolled 88 for Becca.
Okay, 88. I rolled 78.
Oh, Lord.
Okay,
Okay.
should we
start
do
with-
ads first?
Yeah, let's start with
yes.
Ed's. Okay. When confronted with something new and unknown, your character's instincts are to treat it in what way?
When confronted with something new, your character's instincts are to treat it in what way?
New and unknown.
New and unknown. Okay.
With Hattie, excited curiosity. Kia, caution.
Mila, fear. Kaya,
I hate cats.
like a cautious curiosity, like a.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna touch it, but I'm gonna approach it slowly, and then I'm gonna touch it.
Jesus.
Interesting.
Well, Reina is curiosity to learn about it. An interest at most. Rascal is also curious, but in a more reckless way. He likes to really just see what's going to happen without thinking about a plan or anything. But...
Sorry. So Discord's open and whiskey server icon just changed, and I'm concerned.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, everything's blue. Oh.
Oh, no. I think that's literally it. I think that's what has occurred. What the fuck?
That's what everyone else is writing the lyrics to the...
Oh my
What?
god. What
Okay.
the fuck happened?
Okay, this isn't... I don't know what's going on.
Sure, let's continue the questions. Let's figure this out afterwards.
Yeah, moving on.
But yeah, Rascal would be too reckless. He would just straight up approach it and see what it does.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, that whiplash.
That threw you off.
Sniper's cautious curiosity. They would definitely like to investigate it, but they know how stupid that is to be. A boy intense curiosity would just immediately jump on it to try and figure out what it does. In that kind of situation. So yeah, that's right about it.
12. Oh, I need to. Oh, Jesus. Why is everything blue? What happened?
I
there?
know, yeah, everything's going blue.
How honorable is your character?
Honorable.
Silence.
Everyone's just trying to focus on what the fuck is going on.
If you don't know, our dear friend Dave also has a streamer of himself, and he has a Discord server, and we were talking about the colors of the names of the Discord server and the different roles, and everything is blue. And it's...
Everything's gone blue.
Yeah, he got rid of the gay.
Yeah.
He's replaced the gay with blue.
It's blue month now. Outrageous.
How dare. Of course, once again.
Okay. Sure.
What was the...
How honorable is your
I want to
character?
know if he knows this is what...
I just saw that, Becca. The sun just decided to enter your room.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what's going on, and I want to know if he knows the chaos that he's still gay.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
blue, but still gay. I wonder
There
if he
we go.
knows the chaos he's caused on the podcast.
They will probably watch it back and be confused. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, Dave,
yeah.
this is your own.
Yeah, this is your own making.
Is he watching us? Like,
If he is,
Is he in
if he
chat?
is,
Let's see.
focus on your own fucking stream, mate.
Yeah. Go away.
12. What was the question?
how honorable is your character?
He's not in chat.
Honorable. but-
Bunny is though. Bunny, what's happening? Please.
But has he lost his mind?
What is going on? Please help.
So honor.
Oh, what was the question? Sorry.
I've asked that 5 times
How
already.
honorable is your
honorable
character?
Oh, okay. It's finally gone in the head now.
I
Shall I
will
repeat it
lead
once
someone
more?
epically.
What was the question?
How honorable is your character?
Wait, what was the
Someone
question?
else.
How
I want to
I'm going
leave.
to
I've
eat
had
my
enough.
mic.
Ah! Yeah, Bunny just
Lord.
says, I don't know, mate.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of the mood. Blue dabbity
So Becca, how honorable is Sammy?
Oh, I meant to be answering. I thought everyone else was
Yes.
answering.
Well, I feel like
My
then
brain
you
is
can
melting.
continue. Then you can continue. You're blue. Patty is honourable to Candlekeep. Why?
Yes.
Carmen, what are you
That's
doing?
loyal, not honorable. Oh my god, everything.
Wait, come on!
Sure.
There we go. That's what we're repping.
Is this what we're doing now? Is
Yes.
this so
Oh, that's a nice one. Actually.
Excuse me.
Is it-
Oh no, what have we done? What have we done? Yeah, we've reached that point. We've
We're
reached
here.
that point in the podcast.
Yeah. But-
so
Yeah. Anyway, back to the news.
Yeah. Sure. What is all of this? Sure.
so
Oh god.
Becca?
Yeah, Becca. Go ahead.
why is my arm not included in this?
It's disappearing.
So what was the question?
How honorable is your character? Sure.
Okay, so
Sure.
I gotta get rid of this background.
Yeah, no, it's not. This isn't helping. What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Who is he?
Oh my.
Oh wait,
Dave! Get no! This to us. David, you did this. You did this.
This is what blue does to us.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you copy and paste the image of Dave's
There we
profile
go.
picture so everyone knows what it was that made us snap?
Yeah.
The rest of us will answer the question. Meanwhile, fuck. Honor.
Honor, how honorable is boy?
Honorable. He's got nothing to honor except the fucking workshop he works in. So, that's it, really.
That's loyalty, not honor. Honor
Yeah.
is more like a code, you know, or sticking to a way of life. Or...
Oh, I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can't see.
It's
I wish I
it's
could
like
do that.
Would boy, you know, would boy play dirty tricks to win a fight? You know, would boy
Oh yeah,
stab
boy, yeah.
someone in the back
boys-
after
yeah,
they won?
Boy's dishonorable to that degree. He's very dishonorable as that is to the degree.
I gotta clip this and throw this into the.
God. David, you've done this to us.
I'm trying so hard.
I'm just making a screenshot.
You know what?
because-
Yeah, it really is me and Becca, isn't it? I'm trying my fucking hardest and I can't.
Jesus.
Yeah, not even that looked like a natural
No.
transition
No.
back to reality.
Oh man.
Oh
Right.
boy, I love that so much.
And also very okay. Hold. Just
What now?
what have you discovered?
you can.
What's happening?
What's everyone saying? What's
Why
everyone
does it
saying
look
in
like
the chat?
I'm in heaven?
You're right.
Everyone's left.
Good. They found something else to do.
Oh my god.
We gotta stop this. We gotta
stop.
let me
Okay.
just do this.
Okay.
Okay.
No. Okay. The question was,
How
How
honorable
honorable
is
is
your
Hattie?
character?
How honorable
this
is
is
Hattie?
a beautiful.
We can also
insight
change it
into
up. We
the
can
Answer the
also.
fucking
No,
question.
wait. So, Kia, oh my god, Hattie is loyal to Candlekeep. However, as she's mentioned before, she's kind of. There's kind of a
Loyalty and
level of,
honor are not the same thing.
Yeah. So there's a level with Candlekeep. There's a level of they don't get involved in wars and stuff, and they don't do anything, massively violent. They're just there to record events and keep records of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Hattie has previously and will do in the future probably do some things that maybe Candlekeep would question a little bit to get books and stuff. Like she's maybe broken into a building or done a little highway robbery or something like that, which wouldn't be seen as honorable for Candlekeep, but she sees no issue in. So maybe she doesn't have the honor in the typical sense of I won't hurt someone or I'll be a good person, but her honor is to recording things and stories and history, if you know what I mean.
So very loyal, but not particularly honorable. Perhaps we could phrase it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
What about in fights? If Hattie gets beaten in a fight, would Hattie accept that they've lost, or would Hattie do a little stab in the back where the person isn't looking, or something?
Depends
like
on
that?
the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a headache from laughing too hard. But I think if it was someone who was dishonorable first, she'd have no issue stooping to that level. However, if they were exceptionally honorable, she might not
respect them.
She might respect them in the moment. She might not retaliate, but it doesn't mean she won't do something in the future.
Yeah.
She'll
Hattie will remember this.
Yeah, she'll respect the honor of the moment, but she might not in the future.
Yeah.
Kia's the other way around. She has lots of honor, not very much loyalty, but that's because of a situational thing. That's not that she doesn't have loyalty to people and she isn't loyal to people. That's just that she isn't in a situation where she feels like it's changing very quickly, but at the moment she doesn't feel like she has anyone to be loyal to. But that is changing quickly.
Yeah. Who's next?
Alright, Neela. This one's hard, because, Neela... I don't even know what honorable would mean for Neela. Neela doesn't win enough to... in order to have honor, you need to have a specific amount of control that I don't think Neela has. I think if it came to it, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer this question for Neela, because I think that probably if Neela isn't fearing in a situation where they're not fearing for their life,
yeah,
they wouldn't. That's the thing, right? If you don't have any motivations beyond survival, really, you don't really have a reason to be honorable or dishonorable in any circumstance, right?
Yeah, Neela doesn't have honor enough to be either honorable or dishonorable.
Yeah,
she's
Neela
not in the
doesn't have
situation to
streak
have it.
Yeah. Kaya's also a weird one, because Kaya would say fuck no, but I'm not so sure about it, because I think that Kaya does have a very. I think Kaya understands when something is good and when something is bad, and in a situation where either she's beaten someone in something, she'd leave it at that. She doesn't need any more or any less. Or if she gets beaten, she's fine with it. She accept it. I think if someone pisses her off, that's when honor goes out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
Because then she'll do anything.
It feels like Kai is the kind of person to misinterpret honor as loyalty and therefore say, oh no, I'm, fuck honor and that kind of stuff. But as a matter of fact, does actually keep very personally honorable, just like to a point where she doesn't even recognize it until like it actually happens.
Yeah. I think that's about right.
Rascal is very dishonorable. He likes to cheat in games, basically. If someone plays fair, he still likes to try to find a way to cheat the system.
Oh yeah, Kai's the same in that. Kai's not honorable when it comes to games.
No.
Kai considers cheating part of the game, though.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you're not cheating, then you've already chosen to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also in fights, if it's a fair fight and everything goes by the rules, Rascal will still try to find a way to do it a bit different. So he's not honorable at all. And Reina is honorable to a particular set of people, mainly the people she gets close with.
Right, I would argue that that's not honor, though. That's loyalty
No.
again, or that's keeping up a facade. If you're honorable, then there's specific things that you will not do in any circumstance out of like a personal want to be a specific way or to do something a specific way. It has nothing to do with outside or like external force. It has completely to do with your personal convictions to do or to not do something.
Yeah, I think that I agree with that, but also I think for Reina, it's the moment she gets to know a person and the moment she gets to know someone, she decides to be honorable to them, like have respect towards them and be kind towards them and not cheat in games. And whenever they fight or whenever she loses in the fight, she will not try to change it up by cheating or anything else.
Respect is a good word for that, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Surprisingly interesting question.
100.
I didn't ask for Snipe, but...
Oh.
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh.
No, it's alright.
Snipe's important.
Is he really? Snipe may no longer
Snipe's
exist.
important, yes.
Snipe is important, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Snipe is dishonorable because, but I don't know, they're honorable to those that they know will not falter. So like they respect their decisions, that kind of stuff. However, they can really tell if someone is going to falter because they've experienced it themselves. So they would act like trusting of them until shit hits the fan, and then they will turn tail and either run away or stab them in the back because Snipe understands, because that's just how the way it is for Snipe.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's Jesus. That's the better way to describe it.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because of the laughing, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way to describe how Reina feels as well.
Yeah. It's like if you know somebody's got like a solid personality enough to stick by what they're doing, no matter what wavers them, they would honor that situation. However, if they guess somebody is weak enough to be like swaying into a darker situation, they will be dishonorable towards them. Yeah. Almost as a form of way of like karma, is just to say, well, you decided this path, so I'm gonna stab you in the back.
Yeah. Okay, next question, 100. What currently is your character most curious about? Back in a sec, my cat's want.
No problem.
Well, speaking of the ADHD mechanics that we're applying, for Hattie, her special interests are, I think I've said this already, buttons and old books. So those are kind of...
Is that what she's the most curious about, though? Or is that what she enjoys doing?
Those are like the things that she's like hyper-focused on at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's what she's like the most interested in. Yeah.
Interested.
And
Interested.
curious about. Like,
I would say that like if it was a more like current curiosity thing, would you say that like what the fuck is going on with Arthur would be one of the things that Hattie is like slightly curious about?
Probably.
Whenever Arthur like comes into sight, he's like, "What the fuck are you?"
Yeah, I guess also like her own identity.
Yeah.
And like there are lots of little curiosities. Like she wants to know why, she wants to know why, someone who was breaking the rules at Candlekeep is now a master reader or whatever they are.
Yeah.
She wants to know what's happening in El Terrell. Like there's a lot of like little things that she's curious about, but yeah.
Yeah.
Kia,
They're on the back burner.
Yeah, Kia is curious with Rascal. Rascal, curious around the.
About, I don't know, English.
Just rascal equal curious.
Yeah.
Reina's very curious about, besides her entire family ordeal, about where Snipe comes from. Just the general idea of another world, another plane, another that entire thing. She's just very curious about. Other than that, yeah, just her family stuff, why her mother met up with someone from the Underdark and how that whole situation occurred and what her family is like in the Underdark and everything. And Rascal, yeah. At this moment he can't really think, but yeah, he would be most curious about Kia.
What if Rascal was like aware of what the fuck was going on right now and was able to think, what would they currently be most curious about? Still Kia or something else about the situation?
I think he would be very intrigued about what Seeker has to do with all of this. Because Seeker got mentioned, and Seeker is the one who is leading this entire thing that's going on here. So he would be very curious about what she's been up to or they've been up to.
Let's see. Kaya right now is real curious about what the fuck is going on with Seymour's sword and the connection to the Lasser Rookery. I know we haven't talked about that in a while, but she has to wait till Baldur's Gate before she can look into that. And also, she's real curious about what the fuck Luna's doing and where she is and if she's okay. That's about it, I think. I think she's curious about a couple of other like little things. And she's more worried than curious about what's gonna happen with Snipe. Yeah, I think those are the two main things for her right now. And Neela, she's real curious about what's in that book. Like real curious. And outside of that, she learned a little bit of information about themselves in their conversation with what's his face, the Arcanoloth.
Craig.
Craig. We don't
Yeah. Yeah, so they're definitely curious about that because they don't actually know that much about themselves. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. Curiouser and curiouser.
Snipe's dead technically, so are they allowed to be curious?
Okay, when Snipe was not technically dead.
Yeah. Or are they curious about where the demon is right now and what they're up to?
Yes, probably. Well, Snipe is very curious as to how far down the world that they're currently in reaches into their world, because of what Artaxis said in their last meeting, saying that the being that he spoke with who had sold Snipe to them said to leave a message to Snipe to say rivers run deeper than expected, which is a reference to Morwen, and it's that is a huge concern for like Snipe, because that is the one thing that they would protect with whatever little of their life they have. So they're very concerned about how the worlds are mingled in, and wants to know if there's any way of stopping that, because obviously some bullshit is occurring and Snipe's responsible for it. So they're very curious as to like how deep everything goes, as to like how much Artaxis can actually do with Snipe's demonic heart, and like how much that can fuck over everything else for like everyone.
Yeah, I can understand that, to be honest.
Yeah, Snipe's really curious about that. So yeah, that's more of a worry than a curiosity. But it's taken over the majority of their mind at this point, so I can't really think of anything else. Boy. Like Neela, he's very curious as to what the fuck is going on in that book, and he's also very curious as to whether the fuck this plan's gonna work, and if he's going to live long enough to see what his extendo boots can do.
I like it that Boy's always thinking in the moment. It makes sense.
Yeah, he is. He
Very
never
in
thinks
the
too far
moment.
ahead. He doesn't know what's going on enough to have a bigger curiosity, so he's just like living for the smaller curiosities right now.
Absolutely.
I love Boy. It's such a fun character.
Yeah, Boy is
yeah.
fucking fantastic.
Yeah. He's fun to play.
I can imagine, yeah. Next question. I was drinking.
Taking a heckin' sip.
What was it then? 78. What is currently motivating your character to stay with the party?
Seymour?
That's it.
No, Kaya. What's motivating Kaya to stay with the party is actually a couple of things. One, it's obviously she wants to hang out with Seymour and Hattie and Snipe, and to some extent Reyna.
Some extent,
But also,
somewhere.
like, it's safer to travel in a group generally. She feels like this is a particular group where she can trust most everybody. She's unsure of what she's going to find in Baldur's Gate, and she's separated from her other friends. So she would prefer to... That's why she's okay with taking a little detour through Elturel, even though she doesn't have to be there, because it's just safer, it's better, it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. She has no reason to go to Elturel. She doesn't really want to go to Elturel. Mila, protection, mostly, so similar to Kaya. Obviously, these are people that Mila knows and trusts to some degree as well, and probably the only people that Mila knows and trusts. So those things in particular.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was the question?
We'll make sure characters stay with the group.
Heck is like gone, right?
Gone.
Look, my brain has not been cooperating with me for like a while now, but I'm happy to be here. Does someone else want to go first while I try and make my brain cooperate?
Okay. Snipe's staying with the party because they're gonna die if they don't. Snipe also really, really likes everyone who's in the group, with the exception to Helra because they don't know them that much yet. But they really like someone in the group, they just don't want to admit it, even to themselves, let alone to them.
Kaya's in a similar situation.
Yeah. And also because like Snipe is very scared of like having any kind of connections with the friends because it always ends up really bad for that friend. It's something that they've coped with for a long time that they've kind of displayed towards Hattie, because Hattie was the one who's been intrinsically pushing to like, I want you to be a friend, I want to be friends with you, and Snipe's just like, no, please God, don't, I don't want you to get hurt because you're really fun and cool and like you deserve to live and have a good life, so if you get involved with me you're gonna fucking die. So that's kind of where Snipe's at in terms of that.
It's kind of funny because I almost feel like now it's the reverse. Snipe got involved with us and now Snipe's about to die.
Yeah. But Snipe just now takes that as their
Snipe
own...
died, yeah.
Yeah, Snipe's just taking that as their own faults, just saying, like, because of my presence, everything is going to shit. So, like, regardless of what on earth is going on with everyone else, they think it's somehow connected with whatever the fuck is happening with them.
It's like, technically, this would have never happened if Snipe hadn't gone to Dragonspear Castle with Kaya.
Yeah. And that's also slightly part of why, Snipe wants to stay with the group, is that they feel like they owe them one because they fucked everyone else over with their own stupidity.
Yeah.
And they're just learning that from now on. Boy. I don't know. I think it's just because he finds everyone curious. Like, they're really good friends, they're fun to be around, and he just wants someone to talk to. Because he thinks he can survive on his own pretty well, especially with Magnus. But Magnus can't talk. So conversation would be boring. He'd probably go insane. So he's staying with the party for sanity reasons. That's probably about it for Boy.
Yeah. Reyna's staying with the group because she just likes everyone. She enjoys the company. She enjoys being around people that aren't part of her family.
Yeah.
Following the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's just enjoying the company with people she hasn't had a history with or anything
Yeah.
of no complications with them.
Yeah.
So she's just enjoying to be around everyone. Rascal's staying with the group mainly because he enjoys being with them and he just likes the people he's with, but also because he's able to use them and because they have a history together, because he knows about these people. That's why he was so cautious with Kia at first, because it's like this person coming into this group of people that Rascal knows for at least 3 years and some longer. So he understands the people he's with and they see him as some sort of a leader figure. So he's in his own eyes standing at the top of the hierarchy in this group. So that's why he also likes to stay, because he's in charge.
Yeah. Nice. Here we go,
Brain,
Becca.
okay.
There we go.
I believe in you.
Drum roll, please.
Yes.
Do you remember the question?
Yes. Why is your
You know what we were talking about.
Okay, I'm feeling very caught out right now. The question was something along the lines of, why does your character stay with the group?
Yep.
Yes.
Wow.
Congratulations.
That's it. Thank you for joining us on the podcast.
That's it.
That's it. You didn't answer the question. The
Today
real
Becca
test is,
remembers
you
something we
remember
talked
the
about.
question.
That's why I'm here. It's not to answer questions about characters or
Yeah.
anything. Just to remember the questions.
Whenever Becca remembers something, it's time to end the stream.
Yeah.
That's like, when pigs fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like,
Okay, Becca, go answer the question.
Bruce, did you enough?
It just froze over.
You know the question, now the answer.
Yep.
The answers are harder than the questions. I also feel like my face is going numb, and I also have a headache, so I might be dying.
You might be
Do you-
dehydrated, my dude.
Yeah, go.
And that's what you're in again.
It's either
Die
here.
against the
water.
lights.
This
Or
is wonderful.
heroin.
This is
I
what is happening? Okay.
Do you have a glass? Do you have water to drink? Because you
No,
might be dehydrated.
No, I am very dehydrated. It's fine. This is why I don't do well in the heat. Okay, the question is, wow, my face is making it hard to talk. Hattie stays with the group because it's fun. I could die, and you're laughing at me.
So,
Yeah, because it's fun.
because it's fun.
Yeah, because that's the full sentence.
Because it's fun.
Yeah,
Cassie's there for fun.
like she could have like abandoned you guys and like gone ahead, and just gone to El Toro and like found out, what's the deal with it all. Or she could just go back to Candle.
Did you just do the squirrel thing? Like,
I was in another
That's slow
tab.
turn.
I was in another tab just listening to you, and then I just heard you say candle, and then I said she's going to say keep, and then I clicked back and said, if she's moved away, looking away from the camera, I know exactly what has happened.
That's slow turn. That was
I looked back
amazing.
and
You
you just
just
went-
like.
You just went,
There was a child screaming.
God.
That reminds me of the woke quotes. Someone else's murder is very distracting.
Yes. Children at the beach are the worst. The worst kind of children.
Continue the question.
She could have gone back to Candlekeep. Or just gone to Ultra on her own. But she hasn't done that because it's fun to be with you guys, and she's interested in kind of how everything is like happening and it's a plane. How it's all happening and how it's all like unfolding. And Kia is there at first because of the obligation of like the contract, and now it's because of Rascal. Do I get a round of applause for answering that question?
You do, yes.
Yeah.
I was like pulling teeth.
It was, yeah. For me, it was also the pain in my mind was like pulling teeth.
Okay, last question. Where does your character see themselves in 20 years?
Snipe doesn't see himself in 2
It's a
minutes.
job.
No. I understand why you don't want to answer this question for Snipe.
I don't know at this point.
Curious, has Snipe thought about that? If this whole thing succeeds and they get it done and they're no longer Snipe, well, they are themselves, but they're in a different body. What's Snipe like? What's the next steps? What's down the line 20 years from then? In Snipe's mind.
Christ on a bike. I don't know is the thing. Well, one part of me wants to have this moment of like, even though Snipe gets a new body and technically it is a second chance for them, they're still going to be focused on like trying to fuck over Artaxis and probably will conclude an Eltral or die trying to do that. So if it gets to that point, Snipe will then make the decision to either go back to see Morwen one last time and then go back to Faerun, or if they still have a stronger connection to Morwen that they don't need to go back, they'll stay in Faerun. So they'll stay in the world that they're in. And we'll probably turn to Hattie and say, what's Candlekeep like?
Oh,
let's
be
go
an
to
adorable
Baldur's
ending.
Gate. Yeah.
Kaya... Wait, you didn't do Boy.
Boy, we've seen 20 years. Taller, he hopes.
Nah, fair.
Those are the
That ain't
stilts.
working. That ain't happening.
That's why you have the stilts.
Yeah, he hopes to at least have invented something amazing enough to kickstart his reputation amongst the world, or have already reached that point where like he's already got a high enough reputation to be known and turn to make more inventing stuff. He wants to be known. That's what he wants to be seen in 20 years' time. Known.
Amen. Kaya doesn't think that far ahead ever, but if forced to answer, she would say probably either dead or say, as she always been, just traveling around. One of those. She doesn't really see any other options.
He's saying that, I imagine a quote, I can't remember where it's from, but it's like, everything will fail, I will die alone upside down on the floor of a pub toilet. It's just thinking, that might be Kaya.
Yeah, that links with Kaya, yeah. That matches.
Not thinking that far.
Mila has not been able to really think about it either, but if they were like, if they could think about it, they'd be like, just like a nice, like either wizard's tower or cottage or something near the beach with a giant garden, and just like a bunch of freedom and just like a little life where they can just do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about anything, and they can just like read their fiction books, and that's like all they really want to do.
That's adorable.
Damn. Good question. Rascal would probably still be or traveling with Theodore or on his own. He might still be a blood hunter. I'm not sure if he would still be doing the same job he's doing now. He likes to think he's probably stepping out of that profession and stop being a bounty hunter and just travel around Faerun and just perform and enjoy life.
That's interesting though, because like with the consideration of like Kia on his mind, that's not crossed that path yet of him thinking, would I still be with Kia in 20 years' time?
I think
you guys have known each other for like a couple of days.
Yeah.
There is that point though that you reach of like certain attractions towards somebody where you're starting to think them with like different hypothetical questions in mind.
It's definitely not yet come up.
It's not reached that point yet. But...
No, it's mainly because also his mind is very much like, oh yeah, this person, I can experience them for like a year and then I can go on it again. So it could be anything like that.
I'm curious. Sorry, please do finish your thought. But I have like a question about Rascal and Kia. Where are you guys at? Like, are you still in like the flirting phase, or because I don't know the way you talk on this podcast.
Don't make me laugh.
Look at your face.
I have to take a fucking gulp. It's just like,
because like the thing is, like when we're doing the sessions, it's like these people barely know each other. They're like just kind of like, doing whatever. But like on this podcast, you guys talk as if like Kia and Rascal have been dating for years. So I'm weirdly confused.
Okay, so from my point of view, now I've had some water and my brain is functioning slightly better on my face.
There we go.
Good job.
It's almost like there's a lot of feeling going on. What's the...
You good, so?
I took a drink and then the water escaped my bottle, hit me on my glasses and bounced on my arm. So the water bottle was like, no, you're not drunk enough, and just fired and water at me.
I need that water bottle to shout at me and throw water at me when I'm not drinking.
Drink!
Oh god.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a lot of understood mutual feelings. However, and that's been shown through like just like looks and minor actions, and the understanding of like when we're curious about each other, it's just like
we're not confident enough to act it out yet.
Yeah.
We're like, we as players, for me at least, I as player know where Rascal stands, but he himself is denying every part of it about how he's feeling.
Yeah, I think for Kia, she's aware of the feelings and she knows them, which is why she's like happy to like hold Rascal's hand, and like be like touching Rascal platonically to calm him down. But I think because she's so recently come to the conclusion that being good isn't worth it, to then jump into like a relationship or something serious in any capacity with someone who definitely isn't good. Like, she doesn't know that they're evil, but she knows
he isn't
that there's
good.
something, you know?
Yeah.
So like that's a massive emotional jump which she isn't prepared for. So that's why that's happening. However, as a player, I'm aware that they're like, you know,
stuff is happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's
for
they will be like either like the non-married married couple in the friend group, or yeah, that's how I see them as being.
Yeah, for Rascal right now it is, without the feeble mind at least, it's very much like knowing there's feelings for this person but putting them aside because he feels like he needs to use the emotions to get Kia on his side so he can use Kia in further notices. Like whenever Kia is needed, he would be able to have Kia on his side and be able to ask something of Kia, and Kia would say yes and be able to do it. But if you put that away, he is very much, and he is denying it to himself, he is falling in love with her.
Yeah.
He is enjoying the way she is talking with her, and like the teasing of, I'm curious who you are and I want to understand you as a person. That's very, very much on his mind if you would put away everything of being interested in a person so you can learn more about them and use them in further notices. So that's also why I think he will be very fucked up after the feeble mind drops, because he himself dropped that facade and that mask of like using her in his advantage to really show his emotions towards her without saying anything, but accepting the hand and being okay with her touching him on the forearm, like it's okay. So that's he knows he is liking her, but he doesn't really want to say yes to himself that it's happening.
I don't know what the question was we were trying to answer anymore.
It was where do you see yourself in 20 years? So we went off topic a little bit.
Yeah.
But still on the topic of D&D, which is an achievement for us.
Yeah, no. Rascal doesn't see himself with Kia like settling down in 20 years. He's not that deep into the idea of Kia yet. So he sees himself probably just traveling around because He enjoys making music and writing stories and drawing and making art. So he would probably try to get away from the blood hunter, bounty hunter path and actually go towards the artist, bard path. And Reina, damn, 20 years. 20 years is a little...
That's next Tuesday for Reina.
Yeah, 20 years is a little short for an elf. I think she hopes to find her father in at least the next 20 years. And that's her trying to achieve that in the next 20 years. That's probably where she sees herself.
It's equivalent of having a project and saying, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just constantly putting it
Yeah.
off.
I think Hattie doesn't think like that. I don't think it's like crossed her mind like 20 years from now what's going to be happening, anything like that. So yeah, I just don't think she's ever considered it. And then with Kia, 20 years isn't that much of a long time. What she'd want is to either still be travelling around and be, you know, taking contracts and stuff, or be doing what she originally wanted to do, which was settle down and have a family. But as was mentioned with Rascal, she doesn't see that being with Rascal. She's, or at least not at the moment, like, maybe give it a bit of time and let the feelings grow. Maybe then it will be, I don't know how realistic it would be, but thinking of that being with Rascal, but yeah.
I think it would be very interesting if that happens, because Kia can like live for 800 years and Rascal can only live for 120 years. So if that were to happen, Rascal would die and then Kia would have to live on.
Yeah.
And it would be weird. Let's
How
not
old, wait,
think
how
about
old
it.
is she in elven years if she's like late 20s, early 30s?
She can be anywhere between 100 and like 600, 700.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a sobering thought.
She'll come back to Rascal when he's 87.
Yeah.
He's matured a bit, you know?
Yeah, when he's a bit matured.
I don't think that will happen. I think he'll probably die before he gets mature.
Yeah.
Oh god, it'd be so upsetting. Because I was just like, oh god, I was too late. I got distracted, I had things to do.
Oh no, I was only
Sorry.
awake for like 5 minutes.
Why? It always gets me emotionally fucked up thinking about the characters that will die first and how it's
the passage of time, how it will
Yeah.
be for them.
Yeah, and how eventually like one character will be the last
Yeah.
to tell the tales of the character. It just
Like,
fucks you up.
Yeah.
Like with Road to Elturel, it will be Helra and Reyna,
Reyna,
who are
yeah.
the ones that survive the longest.
And they'll be
And-
telling two very different stories.
Yeah, and Reyna will probably live longer than Hilra because Hilra is older than Reyna.
True.
Yeah.
And would Kaya be the first to die? Would be Kaya and Seymour, right?
Yeah, no, Tieflings can live 120.
Snipe begs to differ.
Snipe.
Snipe's dying
begs to
now.
differ. Snipe is already dead.
Yeah. Although if things go as planned, at least they'll live a little bit longer, like in their new form, because
Yeah.
it's an older.
How
It's the
old
one
can
that ages.
Genesi's?
Oh no, yeah, Genasi can live up to, they live
100?
somewhat longer, up 120 years.
So
Yeah.
as long as Tieflings.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So it will
so-
probably be if Snipe gets reincarnated in Genesi, Snipe, then Snipe, Kaya both, and then Seymour as well, then Hattie, then Hilra, then Reyna.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, Hattie will live longer than us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how
Halfling.
isn't halflings? Let me check.
Well,
Halfling
here's
is-
the question I never asked. How old is Hattie? Because I've never
That's
really
true.
got into my mind how like technically old she is in comparison to everyone else.
Oh,
Because she says, oh, she
halflings,
treats everyone like a big
Halflings
sister.
don't
But I'm
live
like, but
that
how old
long.
are you?
halflings can
No.
live up to 250 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 250.
Yeah.
Yeah. And gnomes can live
Oh,
500.
but in D&D, that's not that long. That's not really
So yeah, it would be probably because Snipe would be reincarnated younger, right? Or would have more years on their new life.
Yeah.
It would probably be Kaya first, or Seymour first, and then Snipe, and then Hattie, and then Ray.
Yeah. But yeah, how old is Hattie?
How old is Hattie?
Yeah.
I think I
Or like
said
put into
somewhere.
context. Yeah.
I think you said 22 or something.
Yeah, she's like.
I think you
equal
mentioned
years.
it.
Yeah. So in halfling years, that would be like.
30.
Oh no! Wait, no, she's actually 22.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Oh.
she's just reached
Matured.
adulthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For halflings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because she was in the orphanage, so she has to be actually 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she will.
So
live...
she's young.
She's very
really
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So,
like
but that
17
could-
going on
yeah,
18.
like maybe 16 pretending to be 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, 20 is adulthood for,
Yeah.
for halflings.
Yeah.
So it'd be like close to 18, but like one of those
Yeah.
18-year-olds who isn't really 18.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like like they
So-
can drink legally,
yeah.
but they shouldn't.
So in
drink
terms of
legally.
Yeah.
so in terms
Yeah.
of the progressive mental maturity of each race, Hattie is mentally the youngest
Yeah.
of
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always thought that was like, well, halflings live longer, but Hattie keeps constantly calling everyone as if they're their older siblings. So I'm like, maybe Hattie is older than us technically.
No,
So-
if she's really 22. She really
She's
is
actually
just,
22,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she's the
Just-
youngest out of everyone.
Hattie's
Yeah.
Hattie's the baby.
Hattie's
Yeah.
the baby. That
No.
comes as no surprise to me.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
She was like a
Checks out,
friend
checks out.
shaped.
Hellra is only between 170 and 180.
Oh, what?
I
Hilra
think
is
no. I think not if Hilra is around. I don't care, but I think I. Sorry. If Hilra is really between 170 180, I'm totally fine with that. But I think I asked you guys the age of your characters because Seymour is like at 20s, 30s, something there. Let's
27, 26, something?
yeah, something. Let me look it up because I asked you.
Those
guys.
fighting words, says AJ.
I'm very well.
It must be in the history because it was recently that you did ask that question.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, yeah. Quick question for everyone: what age is your Kaiser's character? The AJ then said 159.
Yeah.
No, 95.
What did everyone else say?
195.
Just so I remember my own.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Last they remember, you said so. Last they remember 28,
Yeah.
and Naomi, you said 26-ish,
Mhm.
and AJ said 195.
Yeah.
What did Seymour say? How old is Seymour?
I asked him separately. Why did I?
He
ask
didn't
him
want to tell
separately?
anybody.
Did
No, I
answer?
was planning on drawing Seymour, and I was like, "What age is he actually?" And then
Because that's one thing you want to depend on your characters when you're drawing them. How old are they?
I do
Not
like
that
to know
height.
their general attitudes towards,
Yeah.
like if
So
they're
you get the pose.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so interesting. If Kaya's 26, so they've been traveling for 10 years because they left home at 16.
Yeah.
How old is one? Okay, age.
I didn't even think about it in comparison to like halfling age, but Hattie's really young.
Yeah, Hattie's
Yeah.
real. Like Hattie has like just reached
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
In terms of like how long up until this point Snipe's body's been going. In terms of like how much
That
distance.
That's
how
how
much-
I like to think
Well,
about
how
my
much
life.
distance is
How
tra- well,
long has
because
my
they-
body been
Well, because
going
their
on for?
body is technically dead, so it's stuck at 28.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been moving around and going up and down in places and been in situations where like they've been thrown back in time a couple of times, so including that. But they've been around for about 270 odd years they've been going, including the decade that they were in Faerun.
Wow. So
Oh, wow.
technically, you're older than everyone.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
But
also
so
maturity.
finally, yeah, nearly 3 centuries of age is catching up to Snipe as to why their body is fucking falling
Yeah.
apart every
It
single day.
shows.
Yeah, it's showing
It
now.
shows.
It's
Yeah.
showing.
Dave said,
Wait,
I
is
believe he's
there-
in his late 20s, so Seymour is
late 20s, so
Yeah.
26 earliest,
Yeah.
29 latest.
So the youngest is Hattie,
Yeah,
then it's Kaya and Seymour together around the same age.
yeah.
Then
Seymour is most definitely older than Kaya.
yeah,
so
then it's Reyna, then it's Hilra, and then it's Snipe.
Yeah.
If you look at like real
Yeah.
To
age.
But
nobody's surprise.
in terms of their
No.
maturity, Snipe is like between Karen Seymour and Rena.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're
so
just a little
does-
too younger.
Does Snipe? So if Snipe has been alive for 250 years, have they matured through that time, or have they been stuck?
They have matured. It's like, well, this is the thing I recently had to discuss with Janks, because there's the interaction that's going to happen the next session that's going to really tell the difference between Snipe and Penny. And what's basically going to happen is that it's going to be a split of basically the idea of slight intrusive thoughts, where the demon was that form of intrusive thoughts and badness that wouldn't mature. It's just the same ideas of like destruction again and again and again. Meanwhile, there is a side of Snipe that is the still alive part of when they were human.
Mm-hmm.
And because they've experienced that ride for a very long time, they've still managed to learn new things and like basically mature.
So does that mean Snipe in their new body is going to have the maturity of like a senile elder?
I don't know. It depends, really. It could
I
be
think
just
it
like
also
that point of like, because a certain amount of like, there's people who say that like there's some theories that like humans are always in a constant state of confusion because they just die before they reach a point of enlightenment. And it's like, well, if that be the case, then Snipes reach 50 different forms of enlightenment.
Mhm.
And it's probably a point of, well, fuck everything.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, here's the thing you got to remember: like, there are like three different types of old people, right?
Yeah.
There are the angry ones who are just angry at the world, angry at people for being young, angry at people for being old, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. There are the fuck it, nothing matters. I'm
Yeah.
gonna die soon. And then there are the people who are.
They've made their peace.
There's like a third one which I thought of and now my brain go brr.
Yeah, the peaceful,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah.
Kind souls.
Yeah. It's
I
kind of like
think-
the kind of old wise woman you find in
Yeah.
the village in a lot of thrillers.
Yeah.
It's like, I
And
have
you-
all
I
this
mean,
information.
you have
To be
to-
honest, you also have the very crazy old people.
You do,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
keep, you have to keep in mind that what we consider old people is often, it has to do with maturity, like your brain does change, like hormonally to a certain degree, but it also has a lot to do with degenerative effects Snipe would be going through. So like the degeneration of several types of like hormones and receptors and brain functions determines like what we
Yeah.
consider seniority, right?
Yeah. But would
So
that
if you-
translate? Would that translate over to whatever the heck a Genasi body is?
No, it wouldn't, right?
It wouldn't,
At all,
no.
because the Genasi body is like what 25 or something, right?
Yeah.
So without the degenerative effects, all you're really left with in actual seniority is specific. No, even those would not happen if the brain did degenerate. I'd have to look it up to be more specific, but I think it'd be it would just be the knowledge. It would be knowledge.
Yeah, it'd be memory.
memory knowledge, yeah.
And there's something more. Wait, I'm gonna look it up. We'll talk about something else.
I think it's very interesting that because you indeed have a specific set of old people you see around the world, but like that's going to a very specific person. My mom is she will reach her 50s next year, but she is still trying to be not weirdly trying to be a child, but she likes to keep up with
Up to date. Like,
yeah, she likes to keep up to date.
Yeah.
So she is still in that. Sometimes I just feel embarrassed for what my mom does instead of what I do.
It's like
So-
that kind of stuck in the adolescent phase you go through where like you're still trying to discover yourself. It's an identity search.
And even though she really knows who she's growing old. She's not growing up.
Okay, Becca.
Back in heaven. No, she's growing old, but she's aging, but she is mentally like she knows she is being weird and she's
some people-
different than everyone else. But
Yeah, there's
she
people
is
where they have like a young body but an old mind, and there's people who have an old body and a young mind.
yeah, and she just she's like fuck everything. I'm just doing what I like, and if people have judgments for it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
That's
I
probably
want
the
to
best
bounce on a
mentality to
trampoline, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
People
That's
gonna
the
stare
best
at me like,
mentality to have as a mature adult, because you do literally have the power to do what you want.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we got slightly off topic.
Oh no, it's still on topic because we're
Yeah.
discussing
Oh,
how much of Snipe I'm going to be acting
Yeah.
within the next few
Yeah.
sessions. And who knows, maybe the next session in this fucking limbo state that Snipe's in, maybe it is literally a battle for how much they remember when they go back. Like,
So here's
Yeah.
what's interesting about aging processes when it comes to personality, right?
Mm.
So the big personality changes that you go through in late adulthood and then going into seniority are things like you become more extroverted, more agreeable, more conscientious, less neurotic, and more open. Actually less open in some degrees. You also, this is really interesting because this is scientifically proven. When you get older, you become more likely to want to spend time with smaller groups of people, but spend more time
So
with them.
Hattie's gonna get an absolute treat when the kids' time comes out.
Small people, yes, that's my field.
It's like, Hattie!
Hey.
And you have less interest in forming new relationships and more interest in, I guess, settling down.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really strange that's an actual like psychological phenomenon that everybody goes through as they age.
Yeah.
It's what age is that? What age group?
Past 30 that happens. But
it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because like if I hear that, it's so stupid to say this, but it's not like my mom at all. Like she is completely different than what you described there.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously personality is completely different from person to person, right? But when I say fucking God, that's like the seventh one. You need a tally or something.
Every time,
everyone.
yeah.
It's more that they become, obviously if you as a person were really, really like active and open and interested in meeting new people and super extroverted and super neurotic when you were a teenager, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you become a little less neurotic and a little less, or even a little more extroverted, it's almost like it doesn't really matter at that point because of like where you are on that scale.
Mm-hmm.
So even if those things decrease relatively, that doesn't mean that you become like the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
And sometimes there are anomalies.
Yeah.
Not everything
Obviously.
is 100%.
Yeah.
That was a good conclusion.
Yeah. On that note,
Be who you are. Be weird, and
On that
you're
note,
okay the way you are.
I'm going to be writing up a new character without even having to change the character sheet.
Yes, I think it is time to put this to an end. We've been basically going for 3 hours. My brain has melted at least 3 times, and only sadly been put together.
6 people have died in Berlin, as the ambulances have dictated. So,
Oh gosh.
Okay.
That's how we insinuate the passage of time.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah,
We've been live for 3 hours, 7 minutes, and 35 seconds.
and it's really hot. I might have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
So bye.
Time to go before we all
Catch
pass out.
us in the weekends. Bye.
Bye.
We don't need an outro. Just go. Just go.
No, we do.
Go.
Okay.
I need a command for the weekends. Just put command. I need to add that.
Okay,
for the
bye
weekend.
guys.
Bye.